What's going on? Yeah, what's going on, man? What's up? Yeah, what's good?
Time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. It's your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D. Wood. And with me now is the champion, the world champion, international champion of the shofar, who's going to start off this program in honor of our Jewish viewers. In honor of our Jewish viewers, he's going to start off with the trumpeting of the shofar.
Damn.
You almost had it yesterday, man.
Nah. It's too difficult, man.
Powerful, powerful.
No, I can't make it work. I need to work more.
We need to keep a record of this because if we start off shows regularly with the shofar, then like you'll get better and better over time. It'd be funny if like 2 months from now you're just like blasting it like the all-time shofar champion and so on, like Larry David.
Yeah. I'm giving like a whole concert with the shofar, playing different tunes, playing the latest songs with the shofar and all that.
Yeah, you're rocking out like the new Taylor Swift song, but on the shofar.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay, so we had the shofar in honor of our Jewish viewers. Now, in honor of all the Hamas fans out there who are watching, Hezbollah fans and so on, we have a different kind of intro. Here you go, just for you. There you go. Look.
What's that?
Yeah, what is that? Get a room, guys, or a tunnel. Get a tunnel.
What's that, brother?
Get a tunnel, guys. It all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. I could watch that like 50 times in a row, man. We might watch that multiple times because some people will be coming in later and stuff. We might have to return to that awesome clip. Might have to return to that awesome clip several times.
Honestly, it is kind of weird that you say that you could watch that over and over again.
Yeah, with that beat, man. I know you're thinking like, oh, they didn't like watching guys kissing. I like guys who are these super tough terrorist types, and they're all smooching each other. But that's what they're doing in front of like thousands of people. That's what they'll do in front of thousands of people while people are recording. What do they do when they're alone in the tunnels together?
That's what they do. That's what real men do. That's what strong men.
That's the manly love right there. That's some manly love. They're manly men. They're manly men who like manly love. Seriously, how dysfunctional is it? How dysfunctional is it that of all the stuff these guys could be doing, their favorite thing in the world is to be smooching on other terrorist dudes. And if they can't find their favorite handsome terrorist dude to smooch on, they go for a goat. And if they can't find a goat, they go for a sheep. If they can't find a sheep, they want a 6-year-old girl. And like last on their list of someone they want to be intimate with would be a grown woman. Isn't that weird? Like there's something massively dysfunctional about this culture.
It's pretty well. That's basically what real men do. So real men are meant to kiss terrorists. So they're meant to smooch, hug, and kiss terrorists in the most passionate way. If they can't find a terrorist, then they go for a goat or a child.
So we've got the hierarchy of the preferred intimacy partners of terrorists, and one could argue that these guys launch terrorist attacks and start wars just so they can justify running down into the tunnels with their boyfriends, right? Because it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. I mean, they can obviously like be French kissing each other all day long. No one objects, nibbling on each other's ears. I got the clip of one of these guys sort of nibbling on the other guy's ear and stuff. But but so they can do that. They can do that in public. If they want to go beyond that, then they have to do it behind closed doors or behind, closed tunnel doors. And so it's quite possible these guys are like, yeah, I need you now, but our love is forbidden here. I know. Let's go kill a bunch of Jews so that people won't be suspicious when we climb down into this tunnel together and spend the next year down there boning each other.
Oh, yeah, I've been waiting for you in the tunnels. I just want to kiss you again.
And Yahya's like, but we must keep up appearances. So I'll bring my wife down with me. She will be our cleaning lady. We'll just tell her we're over in the room together, meeting with the angel Jibreel. Those women are so stupid, they will trust us whatever we're doing. So you've got these guys just constantly launching terrorist attacks on other people, slaughtering people, just so they can go bang each other in the tunnels. Yes, people are making the P. Diddy comparisons. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, you hear stuff about P. Diddy for years. You hear this stuff for years, but then the details start coming out. It's like, oh, yeah, it's way more messed up than the little details you heard. Why? Because, the truth about what people are doing behind closed doors, if they get the power and the ability to be as creepy and perverted as they want, is you kind of don't know how bad it is until, the real stuff. The real news starts breaking. But it's the same thing with these terrorists, isn't it? I mean, they're sitting there slobbering all over each other's faces, drooling all over each other, hugging and smooching and caressing and fondling each other in front of thousands of people. And then, oh, oopsie, we started another war. Now we have to go down in the tunnel together to plan our future attacks and stuff. Yeah. Then if you're any moaning down here, it's because someone was injured and they're recovering from a terrorist attack. Bunch of freaks, man. Wild stuff. I can't help it. I got to watch it again, man.
The funny thing is, different cultures have different understandings and different approaches to intimacy, to even what is okay in terms of two men non-sexually approaching each other and hugging and all that. And you could say that in the Middle East, it is considered more normal compared to the West, for example, that two men give each other lengthy hugs or whatever it is, and
French kisses,
give each other a kiss on the cheek. But then the thing is,
and the lips, like 50 kisses right on the lips.
Yeah. But what we see there with these Hamas guys and the others, smooching and kissing, that looks weird even by those standards.
So you're saying that guys in the Middle East are a little more comfortable. And we've seen the pictures of these guys like walking down the streets and they hold hands, like two guys and stuff like this will walk down the streets. La 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 la. We're so happy in Gayland, right? So you have these guys going down the streets like that, holding hands, and they'll stop and let's just stop and make out for a little while. So you're pointing out that that's pretty normal and accepted in Islamic society. But these guys are going beyond that. It's like, wait, it's normal, like, these guys would be kissing each other on the cheeks, giving quick little pecks here and there. These guys are like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Your lips. I've been waiting for your lips. Here, let me smell you. Let me smell your natural musk. And it's like, dude.
Wait. Give me more cheek. Give me more tongue. Give me more lips. Come on.
Yes. I want to taste what you had for lunch. What the heck is wrong with these guys, man?
It's funny because in these societies, public display of affection between men and women is considered like unacceptable. It's taboo. So you cannot walk around and give your girlfriend, or your kind of girlfriend, or your wife, whatever it is, you can't give her a kiss or a hug in public. It's like you can even go to jail for that in Muslim societies, many Muslim societies. But then, of course, you have to make up for that by smooching your dear fellow men.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Muhammad when he would when he would walk down the street and he would see a hot chick and he would have to, oh no, I have to run back to Zainab. She's like, but Muhammad, I'm literally skinning a camel here. I reek of death. Oh, shut up! I need to bang you right now. I don't care what the smell is like. So that was Muhammad, but these guys are like, oh, I'm not allowed to smooch my goat in public. Yahya, come here so I can French kiss you and put my tongue in your ear and smell you.
I want to kiss you a little bit more, please, just a bit more.
Oh man, this is Brokeback Mountain and Brokebutt Tunnel. Anyway. Much like one of these guys when he's around his terrorist buddy, I just have to see this again.
Let's talk about from a military perspective and how Hamas may respond.
We'll be repeatedly coming back to the clip after watching some of this.
To this with someone.
Hey, you remember this guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris Cuomo?
Yeah, yes. Am I supposed to remember this guy from something significant or serious?
Well, he was like the main guy on CNN for a long time. Him and Don Lemon. They were the main guys.
Okay.
He eventually, I think he got fired from CNN because he was helping out his brother, who was governor or senator or something like that. I think governor of New York, but was involved in some scandals, and this guy was like helping him with the scandals and so on. So CNN's like, we can't have a guy who's helping. It's like, but I'm like, you know what's weird? It's like, I'm kind of like, how are you not going to help your brother, though? That's like beyond your loyalty to like CNN, like having your brother's back or something like that. But it does call into question, I mean, if you're defending your brother in news stories and stuff, I can see that. But, you got to respect him having his brother's back. That's common sense right there. But anyway, what I didn't like about this dude was people started calling him Fredo. Now, I've never seen The Godfather. But I know who Fredo is. Fredo's like the idiot brother. And so they started calling him Fredo when he's like, they see him in the streets, they go, hey, Fredo, because his brother's like governor or whatever, and he's accusing him of being the dope. But anyway, and he starts freaking out going, that's like the N-word, man. That's like calling me the N-word. Ah! And he's acting like he's going to fight the dude. It's like, no, he's calling you the idiot brother. He's not. It's not a... Oh boy,
it's not a racial thing. Okay.
Yeah, he was. Anyway, so I didn't like him over that. He seemed like thin-skinned. He can't stand people making fun of him and stuff. But anyway, he's got a new career over on what is this channel? It definitely ain't CNN. It's not. All right, we'll see. Maybe. Hey, news channel, flash your logo because we're not familiar with you.
It's
where. It's NN. Hey, yeah. NN.
NN.
They dropped the C.
News network.
If you're going to drop me from CNN, I'll go start something else. It's NN. All right, let's go. Anyway, but no, it's cool. He did have Masab on. He did have Masab on to discuss this, and that's cool. But what's also cool is he seems like a good interviewer here in the sense of like letting other people speak, because it's just this ongoing thing. You've got the interviewers who like constantly interrupt like every 2 seconds. And then you got the guys who will ask a question and wait till the person actually finishes and then go on with another question. But he seems like that.
I think I remember this guy because he interviewed Mossab Hassan Youssef before.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did this in the past. He did it before, like quite a while ago. Maybe at the beginning of the current war, I think he interviewed him. And I actually watched it and thought that was really, really good.
Oh yeah, hang on. Let's hold off on this because people are still coming in real quick. Let's just look at these. Let's just look at this tweet right here. Look at this. Do you see this? Did you see this? like the level of fantasy land, right? Look, this is Muslims sharing this, right? This has been materialized, subhanallah, right? And so, what has been materialized? It's Yahya Sinwar. He's out there, guns blazing, fighting on the front lines. And Bibi Netanyahu, he's hiding in a little tunnel with a rat. No, that's a mouse. He's hiding in a tunnel with a big mouse.
This is so ridiculous because Benjamin Netanyahu is known for having participated in very high-risk missions in the military. He was in the special forces. He got wounded several times. He carried out very high-profile missions. He fought on the front lines. He is very, very well respected for his career, for his past on that. His brother died in the raid on Entebbe, and so on. So, and now he is the prime minister, and he's in charge, and he knows exactly what the people who are in the field, who are fighting, are going through. He knows exactly what's happening there. So it's not some guy like living comfortably his whole life and then just making decisions or anything like that. The guy has a very serious military history. Yahya Sinwar, we have never seen him actually fight on the front. The only instance where they are referring to him as a fighter is that he was caught trying to escape and then he was killed. That's it.
No, don't downplay his military achievements. He threw a stick at a drone. He missed, so he failed even in that. But he did throw a stick at a drone. So what is he in their minds now because he threw a stick at a drone? He's this champion of the resistance out there, guns blazing on the front lines, going down in a hail of glory. And it's great. Like Netanyahu, I think didn't he turn 75 today? I think I saw his birthday or something like that. I think I saw he's 75. Anyway, I think he just turned 75 years old. Now you got to know, from an Islamic terrorist's point of view, you are the most high-profile target on the planet. You are a target for the rest of your life. Everywhere you go, there are going to be people who would love to assassinate you. They attacked his house a couple days ago. So he knows, he's 75. He knows for the rest of his life, these guys are going to consider him target. Can you think of someone who'd be a higher priority target than Netanyahu?
Nope.
Okay, so a bunch of jihadis all over the planet would love to kill this guy. Little side note, have you seen the guys he walks around with?
Nope.
Yeah, if you ever see video footage of him walking, like if he's walking from the airport someplace, he's got like 10 or 12 bodyguards in the area who are walking. I have to say, it comes after being in prison for a long time. You get this weird sixth sense about I have no idea what I'm observing, but you can just see the way someone is walking and carrying himself. You can tell whether he knows how to throw his fist. You get like this sixth sense. If someone starts running his mouth, you're like, nope, there's a disturbance in the force. I know this guy can't fight. And other inmates are the same, and they'll punch the guy in the mouth, right? They can tell this guy doesn't really know what he's doing. Other guys, you can just tell this guy will take on 5 guys right now, throwing fists and be able to hold his own. Because and again, I have no clue what it is, but all the guys walking with Netanyahu, it's like those dudes will straight up break your neck in a heartbeat. You could just tell. And again, I don't know what it is. They look like regular sort of strong guys and stuff. Something about them, man. Those dudes are bad dudes, man. They will mess you up.
These guys are just so out of touch with reality. They live in opposite worlds. as people say.
Wait, you're calling this opposite world where where Netanyahu's hiding? I mean,
Yes.
it's the irony. They could have said anything about Netanyahu, right? They could have had him hiding like in a house or something like that. They have him hiding in a tunnel underground, which is exactly what Hamas. It's exactly what Hamas does. And what the leaders don't do, is charge up guns blazing and stuff. That's what they don't do. And so, yeah, both of them. It's like they have the opposite of what Netanyahu does, but it's exactly what Sinwar did. And it's the gosh, man, and they don't even care. They don't even care. They all cheer when they do it, and they all know they have to know they're living in fantasy. In other words, they have to know this guy was hiding in a tunnel, and that Netanyahu's making giving speeches left and right and stuff. So they just don't care. It's that we understand that we get to rewrite history as we go along. It's built into our religion. Wild.
The funny thing is, we actually have Netanyahu. We actually have footage from Netanyahu in the middle of a mission. We have footage of him participating actively. He was part of the special forces. He became a commander. He led missions. He was part of rescue missions of high profile, very dangerous missions. He was wounded and eventually discharged and wanted to focus on education and a different career and all of that. But he has a very, very important, a very significant military career behind him. The guy was actually involved in personally going and fighting in gunfights. We don't have the only footage that we have from Yahya Sinwar is of him sitting on a couch and then throwing a stick.
That's right. Good. You were honest about it this time. He threw a stick in your face, But yeah, so I mean, think about this.
It didn't even hit.
Yeah, when he was military age, he was fighting in the military. Now he's 75 years old and leading the country, and they're like, oh, but this 75-year-old isn't on the front lines fighting with a gun. You see, what a coward. It's like, which of your leaders goes near the front lines? They send you, people of Gaza, they send you on the front line. They don't go on the front lines. Hey, and did you see this?
Yes.
I don't know. Well, not that one. Oops.
I see.
I don't know if this is correct, because I've seen people going back and forth on this. So this is Visegrad. Visegrad says, newly released video shows Yahya Sinwar taking his family to a bunker just hours before launching the October 7th massacre. His wife can be seen carrying a Hermes Birkin bag worth $32,000 US. In case you wonder where the money that your Western government sends to UNRWA ends up. And I've seen people go back and forth. So people basically zoomed in and says, hey, this thing has the features of this bag. And then other people said, no, you're a liar. It's a different bag. But then they had photoshopped the details to say, no, it's a different bag. And so I don't even know what to believe anymore. But 32,000, as we're about to see in a little bit here, this chick could have had hundreds of these bags with all the money these guys had down in this tunnel. Endless trunks of money.
Well, the thing is, I know that people are discussing about this whole issue and saying, "Look, she has a luxury bag and all that." I don't know what that bag is. I cannot tell what that purse is. Looking at it closely, it looks like it could be that or not. Could be a fake. Could be a copy. Whatever it is, could be just some random bag. And the thing is, it to me. I mean, if it is true, then I would like to see further evidence for that, for fairness' sake. But to me, it doesn't really matter. What matters is it's very clearly you see that Yahya Sinwar is taking his family, his wife, underground in preparation for October 7, while leaving the population exposed to war and to airstrikes, and basically giving them. So he clearly doesn't want his own family to suffer, but he's happy to sacrifice the entire population of Gaza. I think this is a major thing to focus on.
Yeah, and hey, by the way, you know what would be funny? It'd be funny if people ask his wife, was like, hey, was that a $32,000 Birkin bag? And she's like, what are you talking about? That was Yahya's bag. He carries all his his perfumes and lipstick down there for when his terrorist buddies come by for private meetings to do all their planning sessions. I was just carrying his bag for him. That wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. Yeah, so, I mean, we understand that you protect your leaders. Like, the president of the United States doesn't go out and actually fight the battles. Very, pretty frequently, historically, lots of presidents were when they were younger in the military and so on. They get older and they become president and so on. So, it's understandable that, you protect your leader and so on. But normally it's your soldiers are the ones who are put in harm's way, right? These are people who sign on to go and fight. It's your soldiers who are being put in harm's way. With these guys, it's no, we go ahead and start something. The terrorists go and hide. The leaders especially hide. And it's the civilians who are mostly put in harm's way. And like pushed in harm's way. Like, please, kids, get out there. Go out there, stand out there. Weird culture. Weird culture. And I have to say, it's the same culture that gives us this. All the Sinwar fans are like, oh, getting a boner. Oh, getting hot and bothered.
What's that?
Oh, the music is making it even worse. Music is haram. Banging dudes and goats is halal. Hot music.
What's that, brother?
What's that music? Stop the music. Music is haram. But it's arousing. Hey, you better get used to it, AP. I'm going to play that thing like 10 times. I can't. I can't help it. Let's take these first few super chats, and then we'll check out what Masab had to say to Chris Cuomo. You weakling AP can't even blow like a true man. He's gonna get better with the shofar. I should get one. We should. That was your best one. That was your best one yet.
Whatever. I'll figure it out.
You like the Louis Armstrong of the shofar, man.
I got this directly from Israel. I ordered it kosher with the stamp on it, with the sticker on it, directly from Israel, delivered to my door. So pretty good.
Seriously, how do we not get shofars while we were there? Like, how was that not a priority? Like, top 5 things, whatever else we do, we are coming back with some good shofars.
The funny thing is, as I was planning on going there, I had in mind that, okay, definitely one of the things that I want to do is to get a shofar there. That's one of the few things that I had in my mind going there. But then the entire time as I was there, I remembered several times that I want to get a shofar. In fact, there was this one moment where we were preparing for something else, and I said, I've been looking for a shofar, but so far I couldn't find one. And then you just started giggling, and I'm like, why are you giggling? He said, shofar so far.
That is funny.
And but I even made a stupid line about it, but I still didn't remember getting a shofar. So eventually I had to order one here.
Let's see. Willett says, thank God and AP that I made it right on time for the live stream again. Yeah, that's the one who always shows up late, but he's always right on time when AP is involved. And demonetized, age restricted, worthy sacrifice. What's wrong with a bunch of guys smooching all day? Shofar away. Doesn't anybody stay in one place anymore?
No.
Shofar. Jeremy Mott says, I struggle with playing the shofar too.
Yes.
Apparently it's more difficult than you would think, because you would think you just, like any other instrument.
Yeah, I thought you just blow into it, and then that's it.
Like
I haven't played any trumpets or anything like that in the past ever. I think I never ever really tried something like that out.
Yeah, I would wonder if I would wonder if it's similar, because I know there are instruments, especially instruments with you have the single reed instruments and the double reed instruments and stuff like that, and apparently they can get extremely. You have to really figure out how to do it. But I wonder if you're like good at Like if you were good at the trumpet or the sax or something like that, would that make the shofar easy? I don't know.
Probably.
Great to see you, bros. Thanks, David, for coming. Hey, yeah, Issa does a show with, let's see, there's an atheist. They have a Christian on there. But they all get along and they're not mean until I get there. And I will make them mean. Thanks to Sophie there. Sinwar's wife ate all the humanitarian aid. What? She's a little girl walking in there with her grandma. How can you say she ate all the humanitarian?
We talked about this yesterday. She's tiny. You can't even see her face. You can't really tell. Yeah.
Here's Sogo quoting Yahya Sinwar, let me go in your tunnel. That's what they do. That's what they do. David and AP can walk holding hands in Tel Aviv. Yeah, we would be allowed, but we wouldn't do it on account of we're not gay.
Yeah.
You Brokeback Madrasa. That's about right.
Brokeback too.
Why would they try to kill Netanyahu? Aren't they aware that would just create 10 new Netanyahus? You can't kill an idea. 1,000 Netanyahus would rise in his place. Funny. That's they always say about one of their terrorists dying. If anyone doesn't know, whenever one of their terrorists dies, they say, no, 1,000 will come up in his place. And it's like, no one wants the leadership place anymore. You know you're dead. Stefan says, check out this video, David Wood versus Mike Winger trial. Is Mike Winger a nerd? D Wood won, but I think Mike Winger is still cool. You think Mike Winger is cool?
He's literally the coolest man walking on the earth.
I mean, think about it. We're sitting there looking at a tweet of jihadis living in opposite world. And here you have a Mike Winger fan, the Wingeling. They also live in the opposite world. And they think Mike Winger's cool. D Wood, once a self-proclaimed Islam expert, now a self-proclaimed purse specialist. Alhamdulillah. Next, he'll open a makeup channel. I will. I recognize there's a market out there of jihadis who are willing to pay big bucks for the most expensive stuff to bring down into the tunnels with them.
You see?
Vagabond says, hey, brother Dawood, and hello to you, Apostate Prostate. By the way, don't know if you've seen, but there's a channel that fed AI to defend Jesus, Muhammad, and Buddha with some interesting results. Vids by John Oleksiuk or something. I will check those out. It's weird because on the one hand, I'm not terribly interested on the AI because you get out what you're putting into it, but I don't know. It is kind of interesting because it has access to vast amounts of information.
The guy actually makes videos about in which he explores how AI will deal with certain arguments, religious debates, and he has AI just debating each other on Christianity, Islam, and so on. That's interesting. I'll check that out.
Oh, here you go. So David says they also claim that Moses and Jesus were Muslims, that the Quran has one version, that there's a prophecy in the Jewish book in which they do not believe that promises them victory. Yeah, so guys, this is all going back to these guys living in opposite worlds. So here you go. This is what just happened according to them. Netanyahu hiding in tunnels underground and Yahya Sinwar fighting on the front lines bravely when in reality Netanyahu has fought on the front lines when he's younger. Now he is not hiding in tunnels. He's going around giving speeches and leading a country. Sinwar was literally hiding underground in tunnels, not up there guns blazing. The only reason he was able to throw a stick is because he had to come out of his tunnel on his way to another tunnel. And somehow this is how they view things. And so in light of that, these guys living in complete opposite world fantasy land. Yeah, and Moses and Jesus were Muslims, and the Quran only has one version. And, in the Jewish book, it promises us victory. It's like, it's just say whatever you want that makes us feel good about our religion and proclaim it as fact, even if it's obviously complete, total nonsense. But that's what we're dealing with.
I had a very, very eventful day earlier today. I was walking outside and I came across a funeral of a family whose little child died, and they were very, very sad, very, very upset. Mm-hmm. And I went there. I was like, this is disgusting, man. So I went there and I started yelling at them, said, "Are you people sick? You hypocrites! What about the Palestinians? What about the Palestinians? What about all the Palestinians?" And then I walked away. I'm so proud.
And then all the people were like, wow, we never thought of it like that. This guy's really won us over to his side with that powerful response. It's like, we do live in this weird age where, hey, I care about the environment. You know what I'll do? I'll throw soup on a painting. This will get people to agree with me. I will throw soup, Campbell's soup, on this $50 million painting. This will make people care about the environment. Oh, you know what? I'll go around spray painting Free Palestine and blocking traffic. Ha ha! I won't let this person get to work. After this person isn't able to get to work on time, then he will agree with me and he will defend Palestine with me.
See, this is going to work. I'm going to change the world.
Isn't it weird? Like all you do in these situations is like annoy everyone and make them like think you're insane and stupid and idiots and make them have more contempt for whatever cause you're fighting for. But it's all you know how to do. Imagine some people actually just making their case and not just trying to be as annoying as possible.
Well, what matters is that you feel better about yourself, thinking that you've done something. So that's what matters in your face.
Chase here says, the true 5 pillars of Islam: lie, cheat, steal, rape, murder, all to enslave the world. Wrong, Chase. The 5 pillars, those are all things that are part of Islam, but the real 5 pillars of Islam are lie, 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 and lie.
Lie, la, lie, la, lie, la, lie, lie, la, lie, lie, lie.
Lie, la, lie, boom. Lie, la, lie, lie. That would actually be a good jihadi theme song, right? You see, all you do is lie and blow stuff up. Lie, la, lie, boom. Lie, la, lie, 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 la, lie, lie, la, lie, boom. Boom. Keep trying, AP. You have shofar in your blood.
You see, I do. That's what they do.
Did you know MK made pee in her hijab and was hated, received threats by the Muslim community? Now she seems to want to be on the other side. Oh, Mia Khalifa. Oh, yeah. Mia Khalifa made porn in her hijab and was hated and received threats by the Muslim community. Now she seems to want to be on the other side. And that's interesting. You can grow.
Black Rose here deliberately censored and abbreviated what Black Rose actually meant, and you are here pronouncing it all for everyone to hear.
Well, I'm sitting here like live while trying to figure out what this MK. Who's MK? Martin Luther? No, not Martin Luther King. Martin King? That is Martin Luther. She leave the L out. Made P in her hijab. Wait, Martin Luther King didn't have a hijab. What is this talking about? So I have to actually decipher it. So I'll just go ahead and decipher it for everybody. Yeah, that is a thing. You do wonder about that, right? So she clearly doesn't really believe in following Islam. But it seems like culturally you can be raised to hate Jews and want to see Jews massacred, but you leave your religion, but you retain that hatred of Jews and still want. And so when the jihadis, who also wanted to kill you and threatened you, go and kill Jews, you start rooting for these guys who would gladly kill you after repeatedly doing other things to you.
Well, the thing is that she's not even, she is not a Muslim. She doesn't come from a Muslim family. She actually comes from a Christian background. So,
does she?
Yeah, she comes from a Christian Lebanese background, and lots of Lebanese Christians hate her because of the representation. And then she comes and she comments on this whole thing in a very, very disgusting way. So the reaction that she gets from the Lebanese Christians is even even more disgust and even more like, can you please shut up? Please shut up and not say anything about us and what's happening over here. Just mind your own business, do your own thing. So that actually makes it even worse. The fact that
it makes more sense. If it makes more sense, if she's like just someone who like grows up and like rebels completely against her family, then, you rebel against your family by going and becoming a porn star. But also, they don't want me starting up stuff and mouthing off about Jews constantly and praising the deaths of Jews and calling for the destruction of Israel. So now it makes sense. It is connected. It's all connected.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, while rebelling against her Christian origins and family and traditions and all that, she also basically started her career by insulting Muslims and insulting Islam and insulting the hijab and all that. And now she's here trying to act like, oh yeah, well, I'm your
I'm an
voice.
activist. Which I would, I wouldn't care, and I would wonder why anyone's listening to her. But you're pointing out, what was it? What just published something about it? Was it New York Times or Time
New
or
York
what?
Times.
New York
Times
Times.
just put her in our face again.
This great activist. What planet are we living on? Everyone's in opposite world, man. Look, everyone right now in the world is living in this world where, like based on their feelings and stuff, everyone just like completely rewrites reality to line up with their feelings. This is wild, wild stuff.
It's such an unnecessary thing to do. Like, who in the world is this person? Nobody needs to know about her. Nobody needs to know about her, especially when it comes to a geopolitical conflict. But then it is actually the New York Times that has been so disgusting throughout this entire war, is the one that actually picks her up and sugarcoats her and whitewashes her and puts her in our face as an activist and all that. And this is just what's happening. It's not just the New York Times doing things like that. It's also people like PBD, for example, invite people like Dan Bilzerian and put him in our face and make him relevant to the discussion when the guy has nothing interesting to say. And his entire fame is just all about inheriting money and then buying guns and hiring tons of prostitutes and posing with them and doing all kinds of things with prostitutes. That's his claim to fame, and he's suddenly relevant to this whole discussion. Same thing with Mia Khalifa. This is just, why are these people imposing this garbage on everyone?
And it's one thing if it's like PBD, that's a guy who runs a podcast. When it's like the New York Times and other, it's like, wait a minute, I thought Jews controlled the media.
Right?
Jews controlled the media, and they're propping up all these like weirdos who want to see Israel annihilated. I don't know these. And
that's
if
the
you
funny
ask them,
thing.
they're like, "Is this how crafty the Jews are?" They try to make you believe they don't control the media by propping up people who call for the destruction of Israel.
Yeah, the New York Times has been so hostile and so ridiculous, promoting terrorists, letting literally terrorists and terrorist advocates write and spew garbage, anti-Israel, anti-Jewish garbage, allowing genocide supporters, Jewish genocide, Holocaust supporters to go on there and write and feature them. Does anyone really actually believe that the Jews control the media, Israel, the Zionists control the media, they decide what you think? Yeah, if that was the case, the media would look very, very different right now during this entire war.
They would be constantly. I mean, if you had a remotely honest media, I mean, think about all the stuff jihadis are doing all over the place. Africa, Asia, everywhere. Jihadis. They don't cover it. They don't cover what jihadis are doing to Christians in Nigeria. They only cover it if it's some huge attack that becomes international news. But like the killing of 10, 20, 50, 80, it's just commonplace. It happens all the time in places like Nigeria, and it just never gets any attention. If you tossed a Jew in there, it would suddenly be international news.
And I have to say, those people who are known for being like anti-establishment, anti-globalism, the globalists are doing this and that to us. Those people should all be supporting Israel right now, because the very same people that they always pretend to be against are also the ones who are happily engaged in funding all kinds of anti-Israel activities right now and being on the opposing sides. Foremost, people like George Soros, for example, who is heavily anti-Israel, anti-Zionist, and I don't know. It's ridiculous. Some people really, really don't know what they're doing nowadays.
The people. The British Bookworm says, "Why would you go all the way to Israel to buy a sofa?"
That's true.
That's true. It doesn't make any sense. We could have just bought a sofa here. David and AP bringing light to the world. You know, actually, before we got some more super chats, but before we go into the Mossab clip. Wanted to play a clip of the tunnel. The tunnel. You see this where they went down and I'm sure you've seen it. Where they went down into the tunnel and recorded. Now, sadly, the subtitles here are pretty small, and I would have gotten something with like a shadow or to distinguish it and stuff like that. So the little subtitles here are a little bit hard to read. Let's see. Hello. So we have arrived here at Yahya Sinwar's main hideout. So he's going to take you through the hideout. I'll try and read along with him a little bit here. This is where he, his family, and his partners in crime hid in recent times. In the last few days, we conducted operations at this location. You can see what is here in the underground. And on the right is one of the toilets and showers. Not bad, not bad. By the way, hang on. No, it's for an underground tunnel. It's nicer than my bathroom, man.
Yeah.
I have a nicer shower, but that's pretty standard. They don't have like, they think of showers differently. You can just be part of your bathroom with a drain there. Built underground, one space. Look at that, another one, another area. So it's another shower. That's good. You don't have to wait. No waiting for the other person to get out of the bathroom. Kitchen with equipment for a long period of time. They are prepared for. Ooh, look at that. You can also see bags from UNRWA, an organization that is supposed to help the civilians here. Interesting. So UNRWA is not supposed to be helping Hamas terrorists, and yet they're the ones. That's where the food is going? What?
It's so funny because everybody knows that UNRWA is corrupt to the core and is used by the terrorists, used by Hamas, working together with Hamas, and so on. We have so much evidence. We have so much evidence of their schools and what they teach to children about killing Jews and how it's a fantastic thing. And one day we will free all of Palestine and so on. But still, despite Israel pointing it out and making it clear, half the world still acts like, oh, no, these are just allegations. What allegations, man? It's quite clear. This is why Israel doesn't listen anymore, because you can't explain this to the world, apparently.
And really, that's what's required for a lot of the problems in society, is just saying, you know what? There's a bunch of insane people who are somehow telling everyone else what to, you know what? I'm not listening to them anymore, and I'm not trying to appease them anymore. I'm done. If you're a freaking idiot saying stupid stuff, I'm not listening to you. Give it up. And yes. It's like the most important word some people need to learn in the world today is no. We're going to stop it? No. We're going to change it. We're going to change it. No. We're going to do this. No. Just no. Not.
You see?
Leonidas.
David,
give them nothing, but take from them everything. I need to put that on my little soundboard.
David says genocide is good.
That's what he said. We will continue the main room. Next room was the space where Yahya Sinwar's security guards guarded him. So this is where his security guards are. With weapons, ammunition, explosives, a lot of other weapons that they put aside. Last room, the room of the leader of Sinwar. I love how they say sitting here in his ugly room. I like how I've seen this a bunch in the commentary. They just toss in random little insults everywhere. I think it's hilarious. Like, you remember that? You remember that someone threw a rock at the guys, and they came up looking for who threw the rock, and it's a woman up there, and she's going, "What? No one was up here." And they go, "Okay, but you are very ugly."
Oh yeah, I remember.
That was funny. Hey, look at this! Look at this! Look at this! What? Everything was left here. They ran away. They heard that the IDF was getting close. So, guys. Sinwar was on the run because he knew the IDF was closing in, so they just bolt. Look what they left. They had to, when you're fleeing, like you are running and ducking and dodging and hiding and stuff and crawling through buildings, you will gladly leave behind piles and piles of money. This is a safe full of millions of shekels. They just left it behind because they were running. They were coming and ran away. Look at this. Look at this. That's on top. That's on top of the safe. They got inside the safe. What are you laughing at, AP?
I just found the clip that you were referring to, which I vaguely remembered, and it's just these guys are asking this woman, somebody threw a rock. Who threw the rock at me?
And she's going, what? Who threw a rock?
The one was like, "Oh, what rock? I didn't see any rock." And then the guy just says, "Because you're very fat." And then he walks away, and then he turns around and says, "And ugly." So
that's what I mean. It's like this. Oh boy. These guys are funny. Guys, keep in mind they're not insulting some random person. They're insulting someone who obviously threw a rock at them, and then they come up there and find out it's a woman. So instead of like roughing her up or taking her into custody, they just insult her and hurt her feelings and stuff. It's pretty funny. Hey, but look at this. So look, the safe is full. The safe is full, but then there's piles of cash on top of the safe, and these guys, hey, IDF, look, man, I'm going to give you guys some advice right now. If you walk into a place and you find a safe with millions and millions of shekels, don't record it, man. Don't record it, right? And you go back, see, you get that cash out of there, and then you make a video and you say, and look, and we found a safe, and it had 200 shekels in it. See, look, 200 shekels, and you just have 200 shekels in bills right there. 200 shekels. We found a safe. It had 200 shekels. Yes, they didn't really have a lot down here. They were down to 200 shekels. Yes. Oh, by the way, I'm retiring today. I'm retiring, and I'm just going to carry this giant bag of garbage and debris that I gathered from down here. It's just random garbage and debris that I've gathered. I'm going to go ahead and I'll just take this back with me and dispose of it myself. And yeah, I'm retiring. I'm retiring now. So, hey, AP, where'd your camera go?
What?
Get a new computer, man.
My camera is right here. What are you talking about, man?
You have no signal.
That is funny.
Cha-ching. Here is a safe that we opened where we found millions of shekels and dollars. Oh yeah. Yeah, see that on top? On top, that's US dollars, man. So you got shekels underneath and then dollars on top. Shekels and dollars.
הכספת שפרצנו ומצאנו פה מיליוני שקלים ודולרים בתוך הכספת ועוד כספים שמפוזרים פה בחוץ.
Wow.
הוא חי פה
בצורה
טובה עם כל המיליונים שלו בזמן
Hey, you see this? Is that colognes? Various colognes? Perfumes?
Yeah, he wants to make himself pleasant for...
smell good for when my boys come by. Oh, yes, come down and come into my room so you can give me some advice about how the war goes on. Oh, just let me spray some Calvin Klein on myself. A little bit of Drakkar Noir. A little bit of Sex Panther. 60% of the time, it works every time. All right, so this guy loved smelling good. He loves smelling good when he's smooching his buddies. While all the civilians above ground are living in poverty, this is how he lives. And money is so irrelevant to this guy, he can run out, leaving behind millions of shekels and piles of US dollars. Hey, AP.
Yes.
You have no camera.
That's based. Well, I'll be right back. Okay, inshallah.
While AP is gone, can we discuss his stubbornness in not just tossing up a GoFundMe and saying, here's how much a new computer or camera or wire or whatever it is he needs? What kind of stubborn dude will just sit there being invisible for live streams when live streams are now the one thing in the world that he does that is remotely useful. He does one useful thing in the world, live streams. And he won't even do that right because he's too stubborn to say, hey, here's how much a laptop that would be much better for live streaming costs. Do you see me fading out? No, because I got a giant Mac Studio. Totally tricked out. Why? So I don't completely embarrass and humiliate myself like AP just did. All right, so we're ready to go into this Mossab video. We'll wait for AP to get back if he ever comes back. Take some super chats while he's here. Let's see. Christians get assurance for heaven through a Jew named Jesus. Muslims get assurance for heaven through a Jew named IDF. Coincidence? I'm screenshotting and stealing that one. There we go. I'm taking that one. I'm going to use that. Did you steal that from someone, Alejandro? Because otherwise, because people, if you stole it and then I steal it from you, people are going to think I stole it from someone else, if that's like a famous thing. GoatHub says, I was thinking of becoming a mohel. From what I hear, the pay isn't great, but there's lots of tips. What's wrong with you, man? What's wrong with you? AP's fans come over here and they create chaos. When is Central Dawa publishing his work on the book of Deuteronomy? Don't know, but it's definitely going to be groundbreaking. Yahya's Yahya's hot lips. I'm gone, but my kisses will haunt you forever. They certainly will, and I'm going to make sure because I made a nice little erotic music video out of it. To AP, MTCA, make Turkey Christian again. AP would probably agree, but he's not here. He's trying to figure out. The veteran YouTuber who does multiple live streams per week is trying to figure out how to get his computer to work. No, but Allah made it appear to them as if Sinwar had times with other men. If only they had known how are they deluded again. This is actually a more interesting point than people might be aware of, because we talk about these guys living in opposite world. When the Quran, according to the most dominant, most popular interpretation of Surah 4, verse 157, is that everyone saw Jesus dying by crucifixion, but it was only because Allah tricked them and made everyone think that Jesus died by crucifixion. What's that mean? It means that reality can be the complete opposite of what your senses are seeing. Reality can be the complete opposite of what you are seeing. You can be seeing Jesus die by crucifixion, but the reality is, nope, Allah just tricked you and Jesus is completely safe. And so, if it's like built into the ideology that whatever you see in front of you, you see Yahya Sinwar hiding in a tunnel, but the reality is he's bravely fighting on the front lines, mowing down the IDF. You can see with your own eyes Yahya Sinwar smooching all over some guy, slobbering all over him, and so on. But in reality, he's a powerful, manly warrior. What?
You see? Nothing.
Bravely enforcing Sharia and starting the new caliphate.
Alhamdulillah.
All right. Let's see. Did you guys see the video of this crazy woman ripping down Greek flags thinking it was a Jewish flag at the Greek restaurant? These poor fools. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. What a dope. Oh, yeah. AP discovered that that could be a troll. That could be someone who goes around doing that stuff on purpose for views. So, yeah, we're not sure. Partial Act 17 Mira says, it's so refreshing hearing you guys after reading the dumb people on X praising Sinwar. Yeah, it's so dumb. There's a guy who goes around ordering other people to go slaughter people, knowing that retaliation is coming, but he leaves the civilians up above while he goes down and hides in a tunnel. And AP, we talked about what these guys could, possibly be thinking over the past year. To me, it really looks like they thought Israel would eventually give in to the pressure of international protesters and governments and so on, and the UN telling them to grant a ceasefire. Like, it looks like, hey, we're going to go over there. We're going to kill these 1,200 people. We'll just go hide in the tunnels. The leaders will go hide in the tunnels and wait. Israel will keep killing people while looking for us. They'll kill the regular fighters. civilians, since we're hiding behind civilians will get killed. Eventually, Israel will cave to the pressure and grant a ceasefire. Then we come out of our tunnels and we live like kings as billions and billions of dollars of new aid flows in, which we seize, and then we control it all. Seems like they really thought that was going to work. And we were talking about this 8 months ago, 9 months ago, 10 months ago, how the people are calling for a ceasefire. The ultimate message you'd be sending if Israel granted a ceasefire right then, the ultimate message would have been, hey, if you're a terrorist, come and kill a bunch of people, then just go hide in a tunnel. And we'll give up after a couple months because people will tell us that we have to give up. And it sends the long-term message you send is you've just given them a foolproof way of killing people and getting away with it. And so the message you want to, the takeaway message you want is, no, actually, it doesn't matter where you hide. We will find you. We will hunt you down and find you. We'll hunt you down, we'll find you, and you're going to be dead. Do not think that there's any scenario where you actually escape with your lives. That's the message that they're actually sending. And again, if Sinwar went and hid, and he's got millions and millions of shekels down there with him and stuff, it seems like he just thought, okay, I'll just wait down here. I'm going to come out a rich man, and then I'm going to get even richer, and because of all the new aid coming in. And it didn't work out for him. So
that's exactly what it is. People really thought that they can pressure Israel by just saying, okay, let's make our government tell Israel to stop. Let's make our government boycott. Let's make our government stop helping Israel and all that. They really thought that because people don't know what's actually going on over there, they think it's so easy that you can simply pressure Israel into just stopping whatever they're doing right now, as if Israel is just doing that for, just because they want to do it, not because they are just so sick of it. The sentiment in Israel, especially on the more right-leaning side, is that for decades now, we have just listened to the nations of the world. We have listened to our allies. We have listened to these, listened to those. We have made compromises. It obviously doesn't work. All we are left with every single time is more trouble, more killing, more bloodshed, and so on. It's time to be done with this. The current government that is in place will not just give in to pressure. They will not just give in to to America, even America or any other country saying, okay, you have to stop. We even have there were multiple records of Joe Biden over the last year, even quite recently, reported to have said things in response to Netanyahu, like he's supposed to have called Netanyahu on the phone after after the IDF entered Rafah. And he's reported as saying, Bibi, what the F? And what is going on? And it referred to him as an effing bad guy, effing liar, and so on, because he says, everything will be cool. But Israel still goes hardcore against the terrorists. So you have even Joe Biden, I don't want to say even Joe Biden, but you even have the guy who is in charge of the United States government being like, okay, if we tried everything, man. We keep giving them warnings. We keep saying, okay, do this. We keep saying, do that. Israel just doesn't want to listen. People need to realize what happened on October 7, the worst attack against Jews after the Second World War, after the Holocaust, and the worst attack on Israel happened. When something like that happened in America, and what happened in Israel is significantly worse than what happened on September 11th. When something happened in America, America went hardcore in response. Why do people expect Israel to be just to be like, okay, we will not respond. We will just listen to whatever the world says? Why? Why would Israel do that? Israel has a history. Modern Israel has a history of defending itself firmly, with pride, with strength, even when there are great risks, because we have to stand strong. We have to defend ourselves against these others who want to exterminate us, and we have to pull through this. And that is what they are doing right now. They're not going to listen to your campus protests and your diplomatic responses and all that.
And not to the UN, not to international courts who are complaining and so on. But it really looks like people like Yahya Sinwar and the leaders of Hezbollah, the leaders of Hamas, were all willing to gamble that Israel will eventually give in to the pressure. Yes, they know the retaliation is coming. That's why they hit. They knew retaliation was coming. But they thought that after months of hiding in tunnels, that Israel would give in to the international pressure, and they're finding out otherwise. And, you know, as messed up as it is that you do have random civilians and stuff being caught in the crossfire, you couldn't let the terrorists know that they were right. You couldn't let them think, hey, you're right. Now you can just go kill more, run and hide, and Israel will do some retaliation, but you'll be safe because you'll be in the tunnel, and just keep that cycle up. You launch a terrorist attack, then run and hide. Israel retaliates, but lets you live because you're hiding. And then they grant a ceasefire. Then you come back out, launch your next terrorist attack. You can't just keep that up forever. You have to get to a point where you just say, you know what? We are not giving up or giving in ever, period, until we have crushed you. That, even though it's rougher, and even though more people are going to complain, in the long run, guess what? You won't have next year. You'll still have terrorists and so on. You won't have terrorists next year who have the idea that if we go kill a bunch of Jews, we're going to get away with it. That idea is going to be gone. It's going to be off the table. They will not be thinking this. And we've seen repeatedly that these guys don't actually want to die. As much as they say, we love death. And there's a tiny minority who really love the idea of dying and going to get their virgins and so on. These guys live like kings with billions of dollars and so on, the leaders and so on. They do not actually want to die. So if you let them know, pull off a terrorist attack and you will die, it's no longer going to be in their minds that, hey, we can actually get away with it. And so hopefully that gives them pause the next time they're plotting a terrorist attack.
It also shows that the Yahya Sinwar and the Hamas and the Palestinian side, they are aware of how Israel normally reacts, and they really underestimated Israel's response to this. And although they don't want to admit it right now, they still want to act like, oh, we're strong, eventually we're going to win. They screwed up badly, and they know it. They expected Israel to... They didn't think, due to Israel's past responses to anything, to every conflict, to any attack, they didn't think that Israel would actually just stop listening, shut everything down, and go in this hard and this brutally and this thoroughly. They didn't think that Israel would actually go this long. So, and Israel intercepted communications from Yahya Sinwar where he says, we have Israel exactly where we want. We have the Zionists exactly where we want. We have to keep the status quo and all that. Israel intercepts this, and once you give them your idea of what you actually expect Israel to do, you have lost. Israel is not going to do it like that this time. This time, they thought Israel is not as brutal as they are. They thought we are savages. Israel are not savages. They can't afford the whole bloodshed. Well, you were wrong. This time, you have gone too far.
Yep. They're not playing. Playtime's over. Playtime's over, jihadis. The world's not playing with you anymore. Israel's not playing with you. Better give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. And really, I mean, the thing that sucks, the sad reality, is that at the end of the day, the only language jihadis understand that can actually modify their behavior is completely crushing them. That's it. That's the only language they understand. Complete force, relentless, brutal, crushing force to where they realize. And we've pointed this out before, that's why people like Saddam, for the most part, were able to keep terrorists under control. Gaddafi, Assad, until Western nations started, oh, yes, the Arab Spring. Yes, it's going to be this freedom and democracy. Bull. The leaders were brutal. They were able to keep the terrorists under control because the terrorists understood, if we screw with this guy and we go blow something up, there are going to be tanks rolling into our towns the next day and mowing down entire towns with tanks and so on. They understood it. The only language they understand. And Israel is speaking their language right now. All right, we have more super chats, but let's go ahead and jump into this video with Masab. See his reaction, because he has a promise. He has a promise for whoever wants to take Sinwar's place.
Let's talk about from a military perspective and how Hamas may respond to this. With someone, you just can't get anyone who understands the organization better. The son of a founding member of Hamas who defected to fight for Israel after he learned what Hamas had become about while imprisoned with his father. Okay? He's the author of From Hamas to America, Mossab Hassan Youssef, sometimes referred to as the Green Prince. My friend, thank you for responding to my call to come on and help us understand this. What does it mean?
Did you get his new book?
No,
Me neither.
maybe I should.
Yeah. I've said repeatedly, although we never do it, we should have read a book, an interesting book each month or two or something like that, and do a review.
That he's gone. What are you concerned about that Hamas will do in response?
The man who orchestrated and executed October 7 genocide is gone. But this is not the end of the war. And my eyes are on Tehran, the head of the snake. As long as Ayatollah, the one who sent thousands of Iranian children to sweep minefields as a strategy, the same one who has sacrificed Gaza, Lebanon, Yemen, and he's willing to sacrifice the entire world for his political ambition. As long as he's still alive, we are going to have a problem in the Middle East. Today is not a day to celebrate. And I saw the presidential nominee, Kamala, saying regarding that this is over. It's not over. She's trying to win the votes, and we are trying to win the war. It's the responsibility of every free person in the world to put an end for this Islamic Republic that has been funding Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis by the American taxpayer money. It's insanity.
He mad.
I've seen him over and over and over again. It's one of the things I consistently compliment him on. He has the ability. There are lots of people who don't have the ability. I don't have the ability. But whatever the topic is, they instantly zero in on like the most important thing and shift it over onto the most important thing. So what he just did there. Hey, let's talk about the death of Sinwar. People are saying, oh, this is over now because you got some bull. There's the main guy in charge. That's Iran. He shifts the discussion over to Iran, and no, this isn't over. This is going to keep happening until people deal with Iran. But that Jonathan Conricus, he does that. He'll zero in on the most important thing. Douglas Murray, they all have that ability. A person can even like gish gallop and like toss out 20 things. They'll just zero in on the most important thing and shift it over to there. But anyway, it's good. It's good. I don't know. I like it. I like seeing that. And it's just, I mean, the reason I find it interesting is that someone like Douglas Murray, you kind of expect it from. He's trained to do that. His entire education and life and career has been trained to do that. This guy was raised to be a terrorist. And he just like, it's like he does it by nature. Or he's applying his terrorist training to reporting. It's like maybe he was trained to attack the most relevant spot or something like that, and he uses it.
Taxpayer money.
Terrorist.
It's insanity. Everybody is escaping the responsibility. And now we don't have Sinwar in Gaza. Most of Hamas is destroyed. So why don't we pressure the Egyptian army to go into Rafah? If Israel cannot go into Rafah without huge civilian casualty, why don't we send the Egyptian army? We have been funding the Egyptian army $1.5 billion annually. Why cannot we pressure them to tell them, go get the job done and bring the hostages back?
Hey, have you heard that theory before? That's a new one to me. Have you heard that before?
Not entirely, no.
Yeah, so he's saying, okay, everyone's saying don't go into don't keep going into Rafah because that's going to lead to more civilian casualties. He's saying, okay, let the Egyptian military go look for the hostages. Here he's talking specifically about looking for the hostages. Send in the Egyptian military then. Let them. We're the ones who fund them. We're the ones who fund them. Western nations actually fund the Egyptian. America funds the Egyptian military. Let the Egyptian military go in because Hamas isn't going to shoot them, at least in theory. Interesting. I haven't thought of. I have no reason to think that would work or something like that. But interesting proposal.
The funny thing is, the Egyptian military has a very, very bad reputation. The Egyptian military is in charge of Egypt, took over Egypt, and has some very, very serious accusations of mistreatment and arbitrary executions and things like that. So it's not a very popular force in the Middle East and around the world. However, if you're funding the Egypt, I don't know. I'm not sure how exactly that would play out, considering that they are accused of many human rights abuses and so on, foremost against their own people. So,
yeah, I don't know if he's taking this seriously or he's tossing it out there as like a kind of bluff. Because think about it, people are saying, well, Israel's saying, hey, we're going in there. As long as they have hostages, we're going in there. Or even if we don't know what's happened to the hostages, we're still going to go in there. We're going to go after, and then people's response is, no, don't go in there because that will lead to all these civilian deaths. And he's saying, okay, well, send in the Egyptian military and then send in the Egyptian military to find our hostages and do that. It's almost like he's saying, hey, if the other side believes what they're saying, the other side, the opposition, believes what they're saying about trying to minimize civilian casualties and not trusting the IDF to go in, fine, send in the Egyptians. Put the Egyptians in there to go after the hostages and so on. Yeah, that's a win for everybody, right? Then the IDF doesn't have to go in. Then you, other people who are worried about the IDF being too brutal and too mean and just gunning down civilians and slaughtering civilians, get some Egyptians. Let the Egyptians do it. Let the Egyptians do it if you think that'll work.
Inshallah.
Interesting stuff. Powerful.
Because I am certain that the Gazans will not kill the Egyptian soldiers if they go into Rafah today to locate the hostages and bring them back to their families.
Is that because Israel doesn't want Egyptian interference and control of an area that they have to make sure is clear for their own safety?
This is an exceptional situation. If Egypt has the intention, with coordination with Israel, the United States, and the rest of the world.
Here is the thing. When he says this, part of me thinks that he's deliberately saying it with a hint of sarcasm or a hint of I don't know, experimenting with an idea that he knows would not end very well, but it would also show that Israel is not the problem here, because Egypt has a very, very difficult relationship with Hamas. Hamas is an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood. When Egypt was taken over by the Muslim Brotherhood a decade ago or more, the Muslim Brotherhood immediately started also collaborating very, very closely and helping Hamas, because they are brothers. You know, the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas are brothers. They help each other. They love each other. They kiss and smooch each other, like Ismail Haniyeh and Yahya Sinwar. And the Egyptian government.
Do we have proof of that?
Probably. The
we'll
Egyptian
do an
government,
investigation in a little while. Go ahead.
The Egyptian dictator, the Egyptian government, the Egyptian military is very, very much anti-Muslim Brotherhood. And when the Muslim Brotherhood took over and started their attempt to turn Egypt into an Islamist heaven, the Egyptian military jumped in and finished them off brutally, took the president, locked him away, and so on. And if they went into Gaza, but Egypt deliberately has a very strong wall. Look it up. Look up the Egyptian wall to Gaza. It's a very serious
impressive wall. It's
Yeah,
an impressive wall. I'm
Trump's
usually not
wall is
impressed. I'm
nothing.
usually not impressed by wall. Yeah, exactly. Trump's wall looks like a little weakling, girly wall compared to the
Yeah.
Egyptian wall.
Trump's wall is nothing against the Egyptian wall to Gaza because Egypt wants to keep Hamas out of their territory at any cost. They don't want Hamas. They don't like Hamas. They are also nervous about Hamas because the last time that they had Hamas on their own soil, it caused nothing but trouble. And Hamas are friends with the Muslim Brotherhood, which they want to avoid at all costs. So if they went into Gaza, that could result in fighting between the Egyptian military and Hamas, and could cause some major problems. It could actually escalate some issues, but it would also show that Israel is not the problem here.
Yeah, so I'm like you. I'm not sure how serious he is about this, but it is an interesting way to kind of like bluff or call someone's bluff. So, hey, you guys are saying Israel's the problem. Rafah's right beside Egypt. It's right beside Egypt. It's right on the other side of the wall. They control the gates. The Egyptian military can open that gate and walk through and go find the hostages. You couldn't say let the UN handle it. No one trusts the UN. That would be an obvious joke. So, hey guys, if you think Israel's the problem and your only concern, which you say, your only concern is protecting civilian lives. That's what you guys keep saying. Your problem's not with the nation of Israel, Jews or anything. You're just concerned about the civilian lives, and you don't trust the IDF not to kill civilians. You think the IDF targets civilians and so on? Well, no problem. You got an entire Egyptian military that's right there, that can look and see from the wall. They can see Rafah. Let them go do it. And of course they're not. And no one's going to call on them to do it. And I guess the idea is that deep down, no one really believes what they're saying.
Go on a one mission to bring the hostages back and remove Hamas fleeing forces from power and give the people their freedom back. Then there is no problem. I don't think Israel would oppose that if it's actually coordinated with Israel.
What do you think about the ability of Hamas to, whether it's Ishmael or any of the other ones or just one of the other proxy groups, to just step up and fill the space as we saw after America took out Osama bin Laden? Is that your concern, that this is more of a worm than a snake, and when you cut off one piece of it, it just grows in the other direction?
Look, Hamas, you can consider Hamas over. They have fleeing.
Whenever he says, look, you started, I don't know if you were grinning at something else, but like when he says, look, like anytime I hear him say, look, it's about, you're about to hear some brutal stuff. Hang on, let me back this up.
It also sounds to me like I hear the question you just asked, but I don't really care about the way you asked your question. Let me tell you what it is.
Hamas, you can consider Hamas over.
Grows in the other direction.
Look, Hamas, you can consider Hamas over. They have fleeing forces and they can cause lots of trouble. Now, anybody who's going to replace Sinwar is going to die. Actually, Khalid Mash'al is a dead man walking. All Hamas leaders in Turkey, in Qatar, in Tehran, in Beirut, wherever they are dead men walking. I said this from the beginning of the war. On October 7, they crossed all the red lines. What they did is unforgivable, is unforgettable. So it doesn't matter who's going to come in office. All of them are wanted. All of them are on the Mossad hits list. And let me take it even farther. Ayatollah is on the Mossad's hit list, and the rest of the Iranian guards.
Guys, we're going to play that little section again, because that is the takeaway from Mossad. Guys, just notice this brilliant... The brilliant sort of chess, you want to say chess match, but it's not like Hamas is playing chess. You've heard the analogies of it's like playing a chess with pigeon or something like that. But anyway, their entire idea was banking. They were banking on their belief that if They launch a massive attack, kill a ton of people, then run and hide. When Israel retaliates, the protests and the UN and all these foreign nations telling them, give a ceasefire, just grant a ceasefire, they would eventually cave to that pressure. They went all in on that. The terrorists went all in on that belief we can survive. We can hide in other countries. We can be in other countries where we'll be safe, or we can hide underground in tunnels where we'll be safe. But all we have to do is wait them out until they give in to foreign pressure and let us go. And then we can come out of the tunnels and then we can continue living like kings in other nations and so on. But we'll get away with this. And Mossad there, you're all dead. You're all dead. Even if you're still alive, you're a dead man walking. You're on a list. You're on a list that Mossad is going through. And it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in Iran. It doesn't matter where you are. You're just going to wind up dead in the near future. And that is, as I pointed out, if your entire theory of interacting with Israel and waging this attack is that you can somehow survive, they have now let you know and made it official you are not going to survive. You are dead, and even if you're still alive right now, you're still dead. You may just not know it. And that message is sinking into a lot of people right now. And you know the Ayatollah knows it. He just watched them systematically wipe out Hezbollah's entire leadership, and it doesn't matter if you're in Lebanon, if you're in Iran, if you're hiding underground, they're coming to get you, and they've shown repeatedly they know how to find you. They will find you and they will kill you. That's what they're doing.
Well, let's be very honest and very serious. I'm pretty sure that of all the targets that Israel can hit or wanted to hit or did hit, the supreme leader of Iran, Khamenei, is probably one of the easiest to hit. And they probably have the means and the ability to take him out on so many occasions now, but they're not doing it because it would change things dramatically and brutally, and that is something that you want to keep in your pocket for a better time.
Well, also strategy-wise, if groups like Hezbollah and so on are puppets, they're puppets of Iran, but they're the ones who are close to you. Iran's far away. They can fire rockets. They're not showing up with a military. Your Air Force would bomb their military to shreds if they found a way to get to you. They have to go through Iraq or Turkey or something like that, but they have to get to you. Hezbollah is right beside you. Hezbollah is right over. You can see Hezbollah from where you are, right? So it kind of makes sense. Hey, here are the guys that we would have to actually deal with if we took out the Ayatollah. You know what? Let's go ahead and take them out first. And that way, if we go after the Ayatollah, there's no one close to us who can hit us. Might be maneuvering, taking out the people that are close to them, so that once they deal with Iran, there's no one close to them who can hit them.
But the people.
For the next weeks, for the next months, could be for the next years, we are going to witness the elimination of everybody who orchestrated, funded, planned October 7. We cannot afford legitimizing such savages who killed people indiscriminately, who kidnapped infants, who kidnapped Holocaust survivors. Today is a good day. Today is a great day that we eliminated Sinwar. We have waited for so long, and you could see him, and you could see his nature. He's a coward. He's a coward. He was defeated, he was humiliated, and he had a very ugly death. But this is not the end of the story. We have lots of work to do. And I personally will not rest until I see the Ayatollah, Hezbollah, Houthis, all Iranian proxies defeated and removed from power. And by the way, it's just a matter of time. I am sure there are people in Gaza that want freedom from Hamas. Enough is enough. More than 36 years of slavery to a sick ideology. And the rest of the world has legitimized them as a resistant movement. And I've been saying since the beginning of the war, this is not resistance. killing, raping, looting, kidnapping. This is not resistance.
Yeah, well, he reminds me of Netanyahu in the sense that when he vows that he's not going to rest until he does something, like, I believe this guy when he says, I will not rest. I will not rest until Iran is destroyed and all this stuff. When the jihadis say it, the jihadis speak in the same way. We just looked at it yesterday. We have unleashed the Kraken now, and so on. No, you have crossed the line by killing Sinwar. You will be destroyed. Oh, you took out Hezbollah and blew all our balls off of us. You blew our balls off. Now we will show you. We will teach you a lesson. I don't believe them at all. All you guys, you have a culture where thumping your chest is equivalent to success. And it's not. It's not. It's a stupid part of your culture that you think, as long as I'm running my mouth like this, whether it's in a debate or in a battle, as long as I sound like I'm winning, then that is what matters. And you've got guys on the Israel side, and they'll talk the same way. You guys crossed the line. We're coming after you. We're going to, except they mean it and they keep their word at it. And so, I don't know, weird stuff. Let me back this up. But anyway, gosh. I believe Mossad when he says he won't rest until his enemies are destroyed.
Till I see the Ayatollah.
Right, here we go.
We have lots of work to do. And I personally will not rest until I see the Ayatollah, Hezbollah, Houthis, all Iranian proxies defeated and removed from power. And by the way, it's just a matter of time. I am sure there are people in Gaza that want freedom from Hamas. Enough is enough. More than 36 years of slavery to a sick ideology. And the rest of the world has legitimized them as a resistant movement. And I've been saying since the beginning of the war, this is not resistance. Killing, raping, looting, kidnapping. This is not resistance.
It is an opposite world. Remember, you're talking about your opponents, Mossad. They live in opposite world. If you're hiding underground, then you're on the front lines bravely fighting. If you've been on the front lines bravely fighting, then you're hiding underground. Whatever you're doing, it's the opposite of what is actually happening. And so, if you're running around, torturing, killing, raping, killing babies, all this stuff, it's all legitimate resistance.
You know what I think we should do?
What?
Somebody posted it in the chat and posted a reference to Psalm 83. I think we should read Psalm 83.
Read it. Pull it up, man.
At some point.
Read it.
You want me to do it?
You know you want to.
You can put it on the screen and read it. You don't have to have me reading it.
Then I have to open a bunch of stuff.
Fine, I'll read it to you.
Yeah, I don't even have a browser open, man.
All right. Let me see. Let's do this. Okay. Psalm 83, a psalm of Asaph. O God, do not keep silence. Do not hold your peace or be still, O God. For behold, your enemies make an uproar. Those who hate you have raised their heads. They lay crafty plans against your people. They consult together against your treasured ones. They say, come, let us wipe them out as a nation. Let the name of Israel be remembered no more. For they conspire with one accord. Against you they make a covenant, the tents of Edom and the Ishmaelites, Moab and the Hagrites, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, Philistia with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also has joined them. They are the strong arm of the children of Lot, Selah. To them, do to them as you did to Midian, as to Sisera and Jabin at the river Kishon. Kishon, who were destroyed at Endor, who became dung for the ground. Make their nobles like Oreb and Zeb, all their princes like Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, "Let us take possession for ourselves of the pastures of God. O my God, make them like whirling dust, like chaff before the wind, as fire consumes the forest, as the flame sets the mountains ablaze. So may you pursue them with your tempest and terrify them with your hurricane. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek your name, O Lord. Let them be put to shame and dismayed forever. Let them perish in disgrace, that they may know that you alone, whose name is the Lord, are the Most High over all the earth." Based.
Always good seeing an ex-Muslim agnostic reading the Psalms for everyone.
That's what you say after you're reading the Psalms. You say based.
Yeah. When you read a Psalm, you got to say based right after it.
Yeah.
Palestine is non-existential. The world needs to understand that Palestine was never a country. It has never been occupied. This lie must come to an end. And if the Arabs who live in the region, if they drop their violence, if they drop their evil practice of sacrificing civilians, children, for political and financial gain, once they come to realize that this strategy is a dead end, the moment they understand this, then they can coexist with Israel. And Israel has no problem coexisting with the rest of the Arab world.
Well, but you said it right there. I mean, we're not going to have a straight military solution to this, no matter how effective Mossad is. There's a financial component, there's a political component, and that's why it's continued the way it has. But I appreciate your perspective and the power behind it, as always. My friend Musab Hassan Youssef, thank you for coming in and explaining the state of play in this moment.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it.
And I have to say, respect to Chris Cuomo, who's, I mean, he's, back when he was on CNN, he seemed like far left, and that wouldn't usually be the people who just let Musab Hassan Youssef speak for as long as he wants on an issue and finish his points and so on. So anyway, hats off to Chris Cuomo. Maybe he's less of a douche than I remember.
Yeah, I think he changed his ways, and this is like, as far as I've seen or looked up, maybe the third time or whatever it is, that he actually invited Musab Hassan Youssef to share his opinion on things. So he clearly appreciates him, and it's good that he puts Musab Hassan Youssef on to express himself and to explain things from a proper perspective that needs to be heard, not all these idiots who are, on college campuses, or who say, "Oh, we just need to make sure that the Israeli treatment aligns with our expectations of human rights," and all. Shut up, let him talk.
Yeah, I mean, if I had like a news program and I wanted an accurate, powerful presentation of the Israeli perspective, you'd want him or Conricus or one of these guys. So he went to the right place. And I mean, keep in mind, it's good to have multiple viewpoints, but don't get like, chunk yogurt and stuff. It's a genocide, stuff like get a serious person to point out anywhere you think that Musab is wrong, or if he's making a mistake somewhere, then point that out. But I mean, I don't know. It's good. It's good. I respect people who let various perspectives speak, and they get good representatives of that position and so on.
Yes.
So he did that. Hats off to Chris Cuomo. And again, I'm not even I respect him defending his brother, even if his brother did messed up stuff. You got to have your brother's back, man. Got to have your brother's back. That is messed up journalism, though, and you're covering for your brother. But what are you going to do, man? Family's family, man.
You know what's messed up about CNN, by the way?
What is
CNN is CNN had Musab Hassan Youssef on before, long in the past. I don't know when that was, many years ago. They had him on, and he was very emotional when he was on there. This was years ago, where I guess he was more dealing with trying to get over the fact that he cannot see his mother and his family forever, and he started basically getting very emotional and breaking down at the end and saying that all he just wants is to speak to his mother one more time and see his mother one more time. You know what CNN did? As he said, I would just like to see my mother one more time, just like to speak to her one more time. They just cut off his audio and just were like, okay, well, thank you. Thank you. Just make it look like, okay, yeah, he's clearly too upset to talk about things. Let's shut off his audio. Let's shut off his voice. And you can still see him speaking, but you can't hear him anymore. And then they're like, thanks everybody and all that. This is how they treated him the last time.
He has seemed to harden up after a while. I mean, over time, you know what I mean? Like he'd clearly been through some trauma as a young person, but then it's the additional trauma of like losing your family and stuff like that. And so he had to deal with that for a while, but then his resolve seemed to harden over time. And now, gosh, he's like a machine, man. Like a Terminator. Chase says, but the meme is true. Hania is burning and Netanyahu is still on Earth protecting even the mice.
You mean Sinwar?
Sinwar. Yes. You mean Sinwar, right?
Yeah.
If anyone tuned in late, we're talking about this. So this is circulating from Muslims. This has been materialized. Subhanallah. Yahya Sinwar. He went out in a blaze of glory on the front line fighting the IDF, whereas Netanyahu hides in tunnels underground. It's like the exact opposite. But Chase here says, but the meme is true. Hania is burning, so you see the flames around him, and Netanyahu is here on Earth protecting everyone, including the little mice. The little mice.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. It's crazy that Israel top secret classified plans to attack Iran intentionally got leaked. Yeah, that is messed up. Unless it was some brilliant move by Israel, like, hey, we're going to make sure this gets leaked and it's not our actual plans or something like that. But doesn't look like that so far. Looks like the United States wants to be informed of Israel's plans if it involves Iran. So looks like Israel did inform the United States, the Pentagon, of its plans to take out military targets in Iran so that the United States would be aware of it. And then, what was it, the Pentagon or someone in the Pentagon or something like that leaked it. Like leaked it out. Hey, this is what they're plotting. And it's like, whoa, that's treason level stuff right there, as far as I'm concerned. That's treason level stuff. I don't think a person should be executed for that, but a person should someone should be losing his job and spending a long time in prison, leaking military information to your enemies. That's pretty much as bad as you get. That's you have been treacherous against your own nation and against your own oaths that you've taken. Bad stuff.
We need a change of the government. No more of having these clowns in the government.
No more government of the people, for the people, by the people. Why?
We cannot have these clowns in the U.S. government. This is serious.
Let's see. D says, David is right. Mainstream media does not cover a lot of jihad news. All the more reason to sub to Jihad Watch and Atheist Republic. Yeah, so Jihad Watch, that's Robert Spencer. Atheist Republic, I believe, is going to become increasingly relevant as things unfold with Iran. So, guys, Armin Navabi is the best informed person I've ever spoken to on the issue of Iran. He seems to really, really, really know what's going on. So as things heat up with Iran, definitely want to be following Atheist Republic there. You had one job, AP. I think they're talking about you being a live streamer and you're not getting your camera computer to work.
No, I think it's...
the shofar.
See?
Guys, is that how it's supposed to sound, but he's just a little off and it just needs to be a little tweaked? Or is it supposed to sound significantly different than that?
No, it's supposed to sound similar to that.
Okay.
Just
All right. You're getting close. You're getting close. You're getting close.
they do different things with it. There are names for those, like certain patterns, like and things like
You
that.
got to learn those.
Yeah.
Have you heard about MK? Is that Mia Khalifa? We heard that earlier. Have you heard about MK and Muhammad Hijab golden shower stories? Guest episode featured Ali Dawa's bedtime stories. Show me your grapes, please. And it turned out it was all a big Viagra commercial for her.
Alhamdulillah.
Guys, seriously, think about this. So this is how dysfunctional this group is. So it's Mia Khalifa, whom Muslims have hated for a long, long time because she did porn as a Muslim. But as soon as she started saying, yes, kill the Jews, kill them all, turn your cameras so I can get better footage of you killing Jews, then she's a hero of the Ummah. Muhammad Hijab, the most popular da'i on the planet, what messages does he send to us to give us the truth of Islam? Golden showers. What about the golden showers? The golden showers. The golden showers. And then we had these. I had these from a different show. A couple weeks ago. But some of his old tweets, I believe certain anti-Muslim women would wish they lived in the medieval period, a period where if the war was won by the opposing side, it was conventional that people could be taken as booty. Some historical accounts actually say some women would dress up for the captor. They got this. Women dressing up for the captor because they want to be ravished by the invading armies and so on. There's Muhammad Hijab saying the anti-Muslim women want powerful, strong Muslim men to come in and violate them. This is the most popular guy, and then that's how he talks to. That's how he talks about critics of Islam. Here's how he talks to his fellow Muslims. Okay, can I fuck your wife's tit to make a mahram? He's talking to a Muslim here. He's talking to a Muslim, and he's making fun of the claim of Allah and Muhammad that if you are concerned about your wife or daughter or something like that, being around some guy, you're worried about them fornicating or committing adultery or something like that, just have your wife put her breast in the guy's mouth 10 times, let him breastfeed from her, suck on her big round boobies, and then they won't be sexually attracted because he'll be like her son. And it's Muhammad Hijab making fun of that, guys. That was in the Quran. Muhammad's wives conspired to have Aisha's sheep or goat eat the verses because they found it so absolutely idiotic and insane that his wives conspired to get this stuff taken out. And Hijab's making fun of it. It was in the Quran. That came from your prophet and your God. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But this is how he talks to his fellow Muslims. He talks to his fellow Muslims, mocking his own God and his own prophet and insulting. Interesting. Wild stuff.
Brother, I just checked about her beliefs. If there's anything that she said about her beliefs, and
Who?
MK.
Oh, her beliefs? Yeah, what does she believe? Bet she's an agnostic. They're always the
last time that she said something about it was 3 years ago, where she responded, "I'm a Catholic."
Oh yeah, she sure is devout, very devout.
Looks like a very, very serious Catholic right there.
Yep. Wonder if she does. Porn
The funny thing
about Catholic.
When I made a post about the New York Times thing yesterday, some Muslim came into my comment section and said, "Oh, she's more influential than you, at least." And it's just, what am I supposed to do with this? What am I supposed to do with this response? The first thing that went through my mind is, I sure don't want to be as influential in the way she is to your wife.
Oh yes, you're not as influential because you haven't been getting banged by dudes in porn. If you'd chosen a different career, maybe you'd be as influential as this porn star. Like seriously, what does anyone know about her from? Like why would anyone have any clue who she is? Her great and insightful political commentary, or her getting banged by a bunch of dudes on video, dressed as a Muslima?
You just Bangophobic.
And so we have MK, yes, hero of the Ummah, Muhammad Hijab, Mr. Golden Showers. So that he sends us all these messages. Yes, give each other golden showers. It's what you're into. And he was saying such creepy stuff. It was funny during that. Remember that live stream where he kept posting this stuff and people were like, I just looked up what he's saying because I didn't know. And a bunch of really gross stuff popped up. So it's like, what are these guys into? You can kind of see it. Based on the videos of these guys smooching all over each other, what they're into behind the scenes. And then, of course, Ali Dawa. What's he do? What's he do when he finally gets the testicular fortitude to, for once in his life, actually have a debate? He's finally going to have a debate with the Apostate Prophet. What does he have? He has Smiles to Jannah dangling grapes in his mouth, graping him right in his mouth.
That reminds me, I need to clip that and post it as Muslim preacher gets graped on live stream. Just post a clip of that.
He gripped me. Smiles to Jenna, he gripped me right in the mouth, yeah? And this brings us to a new topic. Viagra. Is you stuck in the tunnel? Is you stuck in the tunnel with your favorite terrorist buddy, but you're worried that he's going to leave you and go to a goat? Well, that's why you need Ali D's new Viagra. And guys, for anyone who thinks we're just making stuff up, no, he sells Viagra, a Viagra alternative, on his videos, and he does have guys feeding him grapes in his life. Well, I thought it was his wife, because all you see is like a hand going down and feeding him grapes and stuff and dangling grapes in his mouth, and he's going, oh. We need to have that ready so we can play it regularly, but I assumed it was his wife because it's like, he's not going to have a guy dangling things in his mouth and stuff like that. Wrong. Wrong. It was Smiles to Jenna. People showed later. You can see the outfit the person was wearing. And then later they show Smiles to Jenna wearing that same outfit and stuff. So this all fits together, guys. This all fits together with, sorry, I can't help it. I know there were people who came in late. So we just have to see what we're talking about. This is the reality of the jihadis.
Yay!
Oh, yeah. Ugh. They call this jihad love. Welcome to the slow jams. The slow jams of jihad.
What's that?
Oh, yeah. Arafat smells so good.
What's that, brother?
Ooh, yeah. Oh, hold me down, baby. Hold me down. Now, Queers for Palestine suddenly makes sense. Oh, yeah.
Jihad love.
I don't care what anyone says. That's a jam right there, man.
Boom, boom, boom.
What is this? What is this? David, you embarrass yourself just by using a Mac. Really? AP's not using a Mac, and his screen goes black like 5 times every live stream. Jasper says Sinwar is not a fitting name. He was only good at sin. Oh yeah, he sucked at war. He's good at sin.
That's what they do.
21 Coptic Christians are making the rounds again on social media. Oh, really? I haven't seen that. Always gets me solid and base. True martyrdom compared to the false prophet stuff. That's where ISIS marched out those Coptic Christians, lined them up on the beach, and then executed them all. That's actual martyrdom, not this, oh, if I get shot while raping and torturing this woman or this baby, then I'm a great martyr and I get to spend eternity in Jannah deflowering virgins. Me after reading about Momo and Yahya. Brother, ew. What's that? What? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. It's the angel Gabriel that I'm behind this curtain with. Paolo says, off topic, Sam Shamoon said on one of his live stream that you two are dumb and dumber and AP looks like a werewolf. Are we reading the same comments from yesterday? Because we got that yesterday. Yes, AP does look like a freaking werewolf. He does. It's true. I said it. Now go somewhere. Hey, David, what's it? AP looks like a werewolf. He does. Israel ended SEAL Team Sticks, and who was he kissing? Get it? SEAL Team Sticks. That's Yahya Sinwar
You see?
and his crew. They're SEAL Team Sticks. I used that joke when AP, you remember, it was a long time ago
I do.
when a bunch of ISIS jihadis got mauled and trampled to death by a herd of pigs. They went over to the pigs, charged them, and trampled a bunch of them to death. Anyway, I was calling them Squeal.
don't remember that.
I was calling them Squeal Team 6. Squeal Team 6. I came up with a bunch of other puns, but people thought it was pretty funny. AJ said, "Did you see Destiny's post Twitch refusing to ban Froggen? Why would I see one?
Oh,
how would I ever see anything on Twitch? I've never been on there, let alone following Destiny on Twitch. Refusing to ban Froggen. I have no idea who Froggen is. It looks like
It's
Frodo.
probably a question for whoever knows it, and I know about it. So how
Oh, yeah?
about? Yeah. So
Yeah, so what happened
Frogan is this disgusting creature who is
I'd go by Joe Frogan. That would be funny.
who is a Muslim woman. She's like she wears a hijab, and all she does all the time is to stuff her face with food while talking garbage.
I did see that clip. Is that the chick on there that people are saying, how is she allowed to do this? She's saying stuff and she's like shoving food in her face while
Yeah, and she says that American soldiers who go over there and participate in the American army, no matter what they do, American soldiers, they deserve to get whatever is coming to them. They also deserve to get PTSD and whatever, just cusses at them and so on, and says that they should be stripped of all their any benefits and should be left without health care and things like that. And I don't know. It's a pretty messed up thing to say. It also goes clearly against Twitch rules. She's also openly pro Hamas, which should also go against Twitch rules. But of course, nobody cares. Nobody cares. However, if you say something in support of Israel nowadays, you are banned. I mean, you're banned. This is how things have turned very quickly after October 7th.
Yeah, I've said it before. If a social media company wants to make it kind of a free for all, which is like what Twitter is, right, where you can complain about Jews all day long. You can blast away at the people who are complaining about Jews. But if you want to have your platform like kind of a free for all, that hey, you can do that. You can do that as long as you're consistent. Or you can make rules and say, hey, you can't attack a group based on their, characteristics of the group, or call for violence against the groups, or support a terrorist group or something like that. As long as you're consistent in the application of your rules, I have no problem with, hey, here are the rules. We will enforce these rules, but we will enforce these rules fairly and equally and so on. But that's rarely what happens. They normally, they're very selective in how, including YouTube, they're very selective in how they enforce their rules. If you're kind of on their side of the political spectrum, then they'll let you slide on a bunch of things. If they disagree with your views, they'll accuse you of violating rules that you obviously didn't violate, and there's nothing you can do about it, and so on. So yeah, that's the stuff I don't like. So it sounds like you're saying Twitch is like that she's clearly violating the rules and they're letting her slide. But what does this have to do with Destiny?
Because apparently Destiny, I don't know, he posted about it and posted about how Twitch, despite being made aware of the things that she has promoted and said, refused to ban her, refused to give her a suspension, despite the fact that they immediately took action against the other guy, Asmongold, for example, the other day.
So where's his post? Is that on Twitter or something like that? I'm looking right now. Oh yeah, okay. So he's got Hassan Piker. Hassan attempts to gaslight his audience for the reason he and his orbiters being held accountable for their anti-Semitic sentiments on Twitch. If Asmongold gets banned for one singular unhinged statement, then that pancake should flip both ways. Okay, yeah. So there, there's more. He was sharing something there. But there he's pointing out that that Asmongold guy basically said, hey, if your side wants to commit genocide against the other side, I'm not going to complain if they kill you, and I don't care. That's what he said, and that got him banned and canceled by a lot of people and forced him to grovel for 20 minutes.
Wow.
What?
There is a clip. I'm just checking his feed right now, but there is a clip of Hassan Piker, Hassanabi, the very same guy who keeps bashing colonialists and West and Israel and all that, explaining that when China invaded Tibet and subjugated it, it was justified because Tibet was just a bunch of backward primitive savages, and they basically needed to be colonized and civilized, and China did them a favor. This is very, very funny. The same guy will would never accept any such explanation about those people that he supports from, man, it's just these people, they are sick. We live in sick times. Sick times.
And the main issue seems to be a problem with consistency, and that is becoming increasingly common. People have their rules, and if you're on their side, it's totally okay to violate every one of these rules. If you're against them, then all these rules apply to you. Weird, wild stuff. Thank God we don't give a crap what the world says. Love you guys. That is how. Keep in mind, it's not, as I was saying, it's not just Israel that needs to be that way. You have a bunch of complete lunatics who've achieved the ability to tell everyone else what they're allowed to say and what they're allowed to think. And they will utilize every form of manipulation and pressure that they can to make you do what they want. And lots of people will just give in to the pressure. Lots of people just can't stand up and just be blasted all day long and lose their jobs and everything else over saying what they think. And so it comes down to everyone needs to take that same approach. You don't get to tell us what to do, ever. I'm not giving you an inch. Don't tell me what to do. You're a freaking lunatic who throws soup on paintings. Do not tell me what to do. I'm never going to listen to you. You're a freaking idiot. Shut up. I'll throw soup on you. What? Throw soup right in your face. And it won't be cold. No, just kidding. I'm not going to throw soup on anyone. I'll eat the soup. Face. I'll eat the soup. Hey, that would be funny if they came with soup and then someone just, ooh, thank you for bringing soup, and ate it. Emmanuel Shahid said, well said, AP. This new generation of protest is out of touch. Emotionalism will make you weak. You have to do what's right and take them, and Islam needs awakening. Seeing the same problem in Afghanistan using human shields.
You know what I find so pathetic? What I find the most pathetic of all? There are some people on the right who are like, who are all about, well, in the West, well, we have become so weak. We're not defending our country. We're not defending our culture against the invaders. We're allowing them to rape our population and all that. But then as soon as when Israel, for example, defends themselves properly and defends their own people, they're like, what are they doing? What are they doing? This is literally genocide, man. Because it's Jews doing it.
Yeah, Jews aren't allowed to do it.
Yeah.
So think about this. It's what we believe we should be doing, but we're not doing it because we're a bunch of cowards. Jews are actually doing it. Shame on them. Shame on them for doing what we think needs to be done, but we're too cowardly to do it. Weird stuff.
And then when you question them for being so weak to defend themselves, they're like, well, no, we're not weak. It's the Jews. The Jews, they send all the immigrants over, and then the Jews prevent us from defending ourselves. The Jews, they make us weak. The Jews make me weak. The Jews make me do all kinds of stupid things. Otherwise, I would be very, very strong.
Mm-hmm. Marina says, AP doesn't look like the reading kind. Yeah, werewolves are not known for reading. They're known for howling.
Andrew Tate said that reading is for losers and nerds and idiots, and that you don't learn anything when you read. So this is the principle that I go by. I don't read. I am read.
Ahoo, werewolves of London. Ahoo. Justice, Sinwar gone on the first day of Sukkot. Is that true? Was that when they got him?
Yes.
And it was by accident. It's a Sukkot miracle.
That's the thing. October 7 happened on the last day of Sukkot, I think, and the death of Yahya Sinwar was on the first day of Sukkot. So very, 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 very nice. Very, very nice.
Tele AI on YouTube has made a pretty good 3D model of Sinwar's last moments. Huh. Oh, I think I've seen some of those. I forget where. Maybe on Twitter or something like that. But people like showing what the building and where he was and stuff like that. Do you think some of the mistake was also the video recording? Seems to activate even American Jews. I'm glad Israel is winning and not submitting.
What video recording?
Oh, I think they. Do you mean of like civilian deaths or something like that?
Oh yeah. Well, yes.
Oh yeah, because I'm wondering, as far as Shauna here, she mean like it was a mistake for Hamas to be recording things because that upset upset American Jews and stuff about what was happening, or that the footage of dead civilians and stuff like that in Gaza is activating because here you say, because she ends up saying, I'm glad Israel's winning and not submitting. So sounds like you're talking about people being upset at what Israel's doing because of videos.
Alhamdulillah. It could be because people see footage and they're like, oh no, this is very sad. And yes, it is very sad. It is very sad. But Israel is not the side asking for it. Israel is not the side responsible for doing all of this. Israel did whatever they could to prevent this, and the other side has been asking for it. Israel has basically been forced to do this, and here is the thing. It gets very difficult to deal with the fact that lots of people appeal to emotions and try to make this all about, look, innocent people dying and all of that, and that is a very difficult thing to deal with. However, sorry, that's just no longer something that we can take into consideration. The other side has forced this to happen. Israel needs to end it.
Yeah, take something like World War II. Between 50 and 85 million people died during World War II. About 2/3 were civilian casualties. There's something about, for most people, like hearing a number or hearing someone die just doesn't have the same impact as seeing it or seeing footage of it or something like that. But guys, this would be true of any war. This would be true of any war. If you actually had people recording video footage of people dying or dead people and so on, or the civilians who are caught in the crossfire and stuff, you could manipulate people on any war. You could have taken video footage of dead Germans, and look at these Germans dying. Look at these Germans dying. Okay, you had to fight the Germans anyway. But we just live in a different time where people have cell phones that can record footage of people dying. And guess what? You still have to go after Hamas. You still have to find the jihadis. You still have to go after your hostages. And it doesn't matter how much video footage people post about it. You got to do it anyway.
There.
Well.
There is news that Twitch, we were just talking about Twitch, Twitch is reported banning account creations from Israel as of today.
Oh, now it's making sense. So whoever's running that site is actually
if you're in Israel, you can no longer sign up for a new account on Twitch. Wow, man.
We might need to cover that at some point. We might need to cover that because there's apparently a lot of drama if there's video clips and stuff like this with people going back and forth. That is interesting stuff. Meredith here refers to Proverbs 11, verse 10. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices. And when the wicked perish, there are shouts of gladness. Well, if you've been following the recent news, the wicked have been perishing quite a bit. Legameth Thegayon, I shall pursue my enemies and overtake them and not turn back until their annihilation. That is what Israel's doing right now. Wish Mossad would stop beating around the bush and just tell us what he really thinks. Like, seriously, more than anyone else on the planet, he just seems to like, I will tell you exactly what I think. I will choose the cow. He doesn't care whose feelings he hurts or anything. Or how much of a backlash, or how it's going to be used against him later. If you bring this up later, it's like, this is the guy who said that he would choose a cow over billions of Muslim lives. He just like grins as you're trying to use it against him. Pretty base dude.
History repeats itself.
Am I the only one who loved hearing AP read the Word of God? Beast.
Yeah. You're the only one, Emily.
No, everyone loved that. Someone should clip it, post it all over social media, and we should, hey, people should request in the future and be like, hey, can someone read this psalm? Can someone read that psalm? And have AP do it every time until, like, we can compile it all and make a giant video. AP reads the psalms.
That would be fun.
That would be funny. D. Wood, AP, is it true that Iran Hezbollah had a failed assassination attempt with drones on Netanyahu's home? Thoughts on it? Yeah, there was a drone attack, right? And he wasn't even there or something?
Yeah, there was. Yeah,
and then they tried to claim that he was injured. Unconfirmed reports say that he may have been injured in this attack.
His home in Caesarea was attacked. Attempts to attack his home and assassinate him or something like that. Well, it was a very pathetic attempt. A very pathetic attempt. Just as pathetic as all their other attacks. Yeah.
Well, why I thought it was funny was they were trying to be like Israel, right? They're trying to be like, hey, we're going to do this brilliant plan that no one's expecting right now, right? Like, who in the world? Show me one person who wasn't involved in it anywhere in the world who expected Israel to blow off the balls of thousands of terrorists and actually pull that off. Who thought that was even a thing that could happen? No one was thinking that, right? So you see that and you're like, whoa. I don't care who you terrorists are. These guys are smarter than you. I would be terrified of them if I were you because they are way, way smarter than you. So Israel keeps doing this, like massively outsmarting them. They'll overpower them when they need to overpower them. They'll outsmart them when they need to outsmart them. And the jihadis just seem like massively dumb by comparison. But here it's like, aha, we'll outsmart the Jews this time. We'll send in a drone to attack his house and then everyone will be impressed by our brilliance. And it fails. You try to outsmart the Jews and you lose. If you try to outsmart the Jews, you will lose, jihadis. You heard it here.
Yeah. So there was some sad news going around earlier today, which is about a survivor of October 7 by the name of Shirel Golan. She is a 22-year-old.
Oh yeah, I read that. Yeah.
She survived the Nova Music Festival attack on October 7, the one where over 300 people were killed by Hamas, and many were abducted, many were mistreated, and so on. She survived a whole year, but apparently was severely depressed and traumatized. And there's also something called when you are involved in an event where others die and you survive, there's this whole thing called survivor's guilt. So today she took her own life, apparently.
Yeah, I've seen those kinds of things have happened before, like where even reporters who are reporting on things, they've just seen too much. They can never get it out of their heads. You're pointing out then there's the additional factor of survivor's guilt with survivors of attacks, but people they've seen too many horrible things and they can never get them out of their heads. They can't sleep. It's always in their heads, and they get to where they're just constantly miserable and depressed, and they take their own lives. I remember there was a photograph. I forget which African country, but it was like Sudan maybe, but it was a starving kid. He was just like like skin on bones. He couldn't even walk. He was crawling, and someone had given him a bag of food, and then a big strong guy just walks over and just snatches it from him, and starts walking away. And so the famous picture was the kid. He was like reaching, like his hand is still reached out, as this guy was pulling the food away from this starving kid. Anyway, I was looking up that picture to find out where it was from and stuff, and I read that the guy who took the photograph a couple weeks later killed himself. He'd seen too much messed up stuff, and it bothered him, and he went and took his own life. Wild stuff.
Yeah, Autumn, she was 22 years old, yes. 22 years old, and she took her life after having unbearable trauma and all that.
I'm so grateful to you both for your coverage and support of Israel. Yes, you are both hilarious and a little naughty at times, but I absolutely adore you. Well, AP's a little naughty.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You know who else is a little naughty?
Who?
What's that?
We could check that out again later. Let's see. Elena says, I'm just interested in your opinion of Saudi Arabia not interfering in the war and to help their Muslim Brotherhood. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. You have people, if they're not aware of the real dynamics going on, to be like, hey, why aren't Saudi Arabia and the UAE and so on all coming to the rescue of the jihadis against Israel and so on? It's actually, even though Hamas is Sunni, it's actually Iran who's calling some of the shots there and providing them with supplies and so on. Hezbollah is controlled by Iran. The Houthis are puppets of Iran. So it's Iran causing the problems in the area. Saudi Arabia hates Iran more than they have a problem with Israel. The Sunni nations that are near Iran. In other words, the Sunni nations around there, they know Iran is constantly Iran would love to conquer them. Israel doesn't want to conquer them. Iran would love to cause endless problems. And Iran tends to have crazy leaders who are willing to blow everything up and bring about some sort of bring about the end times and so on. So as much as they may thump their chests and support the Muslim Brotherhood around the world and so on, at the end of the day, they're not going to go against Israel while Israel is dealing with Iran for them. That would be my assessment.
There's also the other aspect, which is that Saudi Arabia is part of several Arab countries that have established themselves and become rich and stable after the oil miracle, when oil started getting discovered and being extremely useful. They became rich. In countries like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Qatar, and the others, well, Qatar to an extent, they're being very stupid right now. But in these countries, in these oil-rich countries, they don't really look very well upon groups that engage in militant activities, that engage in freedom fighting, resistance, and all that. They don't perceive all of that very well, and which is also why they try to ban it wherever possible. If you try to have pro-Palestine, free Palestine activism in Saudi Arabia, you might easily get arrested. If you engage in such activities in the United Arab Emirates, you might get in trouble. These countries, they have what what Salafi Muslims, for example, certain Salafi Muslims will refer to it disparagingly as madkhalism or madkhalis, who are it's a loyalist strain of Salafi Muslims who just are quiet and obedient and obey the state, obey the Saudi rulers without objections, without stirring controversy, without stirring any sentiments of resistance or of democracy, whatever it is. And that is the idea that is generally popular in these countries. Movements that advocate for taking matters into your own hands and overthrowing governments and fighting against governments and so on, these things are not popular in Saudi Arabia and on the Arabian Peninsula. So that is also one aspect. Hamas knows very well, and the Palestinian terrorists know very well, that Saudi Arabia would not help them. On the contrary, they would want them to calm down and just get out of the picture, which is why they accuse them of being collaborators with Israel and so on. These are two different worlds. Saudi Arabia is rich and has their way, and it works. They don't want to be involved in the other stuff that Hamas does.
And by the way, these things are all connected, Elena, namely that these other nations, these Sunni nations, were normalizing relations with Israel. Iran saw that. Hamas saw that. Hezbollah saw that. The Houthis saw that. They're all looking at that saying, wait a minute, are we seriously going to have a world where Israel is accepted by the Muslim world? No, let's set things off, knowing that after we go and launch this big terrorist attack, Israel's going to retaliate, and this will derail Israel's normalization of relations with all these other nations and stuff. It'll derail it, and so they won't get along. But guess what? The other nations, they can kind of tell that. They know what this is. They know what's going on, right? They're looking at that. In other words, the smart people in those nations are going, oh, we were trying to get a point where we can actually have peace and not endless fighting and bloodshed. And Iran tried to derail it, and they're trying to get us to get involved because Muslims are being killed and so on, not falling for it. So those are the main issues involved.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. Thoughts on the digital physics, quantum physics, and mind argument for God, since a lot of physicists seem unconvinced. Not familiar with that as far as, I know stuff about quantum physics. I don't know if you're talking about some quantum physics argument for God. You'd have to be more specific about what you're talking about, or send me a video on it or something if you want me to check it out, answering LDS.
Yeah, as a physicist myself, I'm a very big fan of this. And I think that there should be lots of discussions about this and all that. Something like
Indeed. Get Kamala out of here. Make America Turk again. What do you mean? Get her out of there. She hasn't even gotten started. She's the vice president. Why does everyone think she's responsible for anything? Except for her being the border czar. She did a bang-up job there. You see? Let's see. Are we seeing the jizz hard jihad? What's wrong with you? AP, quit sending your fans over here with all their pervy super chats.
If I didn't have my fans over here, this would be boring, man.
Oh, yeah, this is what you were talking about. Twitch has geo-banned Israelis from making new accounts. That is.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I'm also finding out now that this ban also necessarily applies to anyone signing up from the Palestinian territories, whether that is whether that is intended or a side effect of it. I don't know. It's weird.
Very, very weird. Karen says, watch the Dancing Boys of Afghanistan to understand the honoristic undercurrents in Islam. Women are sloppy seconds. Yeah, they do love some young boys over there. It's pretty messed up. If you want to see a movie, about it, I think it was based on a true story. Check out The Kite Runner. Watched that years ago.
What did you just say?
It was The Kite Runner.
Oh, okay.
There's a movie called The Kite Runner. But it's about the takeover of the Taliban and so on. And anyway, there was lots of messed up stuff. But anyway, they had the little dancing boys in there.
I just love myself some beautiful young little boys. I don't like women.
Yeah, but keep in mind, these are the guys who are telling us we have a messed up culture and that we need to adopt their culture. Totally. And it's just crazy. You have these guys. You have tons of these guys who will admit, yes, if a woman isn't dressed like a frumpy ninja, then she's begging to be raped. And politicians say, wow, these are the guys that we need more of in our country because we'll definitely trust them around our daughters. Freaking
yes,
morons, man.
We need to invite more of these people over here so they can enrich our culture. Do not be worried. Yes, things are not going perfectly in their culture, but once they are over here, they will be perfectly suited for our society. In fact, they will make us great with their contributions.
Yeah, it's our strength. For my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law. Yeah, that's about right. That's how it works. Drumming of the chest, not a recipe for success. Muhammad Hijab. Drumming of the chest, not a recipe for success. No, it is. That's exactly what makes you a popular dawah guy. It will not impress other people. They'll look at you like you're a complete freaking moron, but it will impress the dawah guys. Some jizya for my two favorite jihadis. Shalom. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't spill it all.
Let's say, Lloyd said, Central Dawah saying, for every miracle Jesus performed, he will give you 10 that Muhammad did. And you pointed out he can't even do that using the Quran. Lol. Yeah, I know. That's funny. He said, everything about him was boasting. And I like kept letting him get away with it because I thought it was funny and stuff. But he's like, for every miracle you point to me for Jesus, I'll show you 10 for Muhammad. It's like, and I go, you can't even do that with the Quran. Jesus, in the Quran, Jesus, he's born of a virgin. He speaks as a baby. He's raising the dead. He's cleansing the lepers. He's doing all these things. And what do you have from Muhammad? The Quran says he couldn't perform miracles. Then he tried to argue for the only two that you could actually argue from, which just, if you just go with the Quran, they don't even work. So you got Muhammad's night journey, which we all know was actually some sort of vision. So not a miracle that could be confirmed. And then, of course, Muhammad splitting the moon, which the Quran doesn't even say. You have to go to the Hadith to get the idea that he actually split the moon. The Quran just says the moon is cleft asunder, and it sounds like a sign of the end times or something like that. But yeah, so it's funny. I said, you can't even do that with the Quran. If we just stick with the Quran, you can't show me that Muhammad is more miraculous. The Quran says Muhammad's only miracle is the Quran. My lovely Arabic poetry, this is the proof.
Hey, by the way, I got in touch with I messaged Dr. Shadi Nasser. I messaged with him. I emailed with him in the past about different things to ask him questions, and he has always been nice to get back after a while. And he was also a guest on my channel where we talked lengthily about the Quran and its literary aspect and its challenge. So I said, hey, hope you're doing well and stuff, and I just really want to show you a new creation that I have achieved with the help of AI in writing something better than the Quran. So I would like to introduce this chapter for you. What do you say? I'm still waiting for a response from him, but if he gets back, then I will show him my Surah Shakira and see what he thinks about it.
Oh, he might convert to atheism.
Or Shakirism.
Yeah. Shakirism. Answering LDS says, has the teleological argument been weakened? By what? The more you find out about the world and life and so on, the stronger the argument gets. Keep in mind, when people, when the biologists decided for us that life can just form on its own, they thought that cells were extremely simple. They thought they were just little blobs of protoplasm, and that it's the arrangement of these cells that gives you the complex organisms like us. But they thought cells were extremely simple little blobs of protoplasm. Of course, so they decide it, and then it becomes standard that, of course, you just need a little bit of protoplasm. Then you got cells, and you just put them, they can increase in complexity over time and no problem and stuff. Then they find out they're actually like little cities and little factories and so on. But they'd already decided. So anyway, the point is, the more you find out, I mean, once you learn like what DNA and coded information and like the laws of nature and how specific things are, you can still say I'm not persuaded by that, but you can't say that like the evidence has been decreasing. The more you find out, the more impressive it gets, I would say.
Cells are based.
They're extremely based. Dwayne says, David, I've watched your debate with Dawah Central, and as a Muslim, don't check my channel. I'm not a preacher. You completely humiliated him. And I have now concluded Islam is false, and I converted. Well, why are you saying don't check your channel then? Huh?
Before watching this debate, I was a Muslim, but now I am the Pope.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if he just has like random stuff over on his channel and saying, "Hey, I'm not a preacher. I'm not, just I watch car videos or I play games or something like that on my channel or something like that." But yeah, I actually I might do this tomorrow. I want to make a video message to Central Dawa saying, "Hey, everyone's saying you got crushed and stuff, but you're a young guy. Keep at it. Keep at the Dawa. But as you're doing your Dawa, just pay closer attention to what you're doing, right? Like all this chest thumping. Why? Why do you do that? Why is that popular? Why is that a popular thing? The constantly trying to change your arguments so that no one knows what you're going to say. Why do you need to do that? Like, why don't you have confidence? Guys, what arguments did I come out with in the debate? Satanic verse, the same stuff I always bring up, the same stuff I would bring up under any I don't need to change anything. I don't need to trick. I don't need to try to catch someone off guard. But the Dawa guys are always doing that. So anyway, I just want to say, hey, don't get discouraged. You're young. Yeah, everyone's saying you got crushed. Even on your channel, people are saying you got crushed. But you're a young guy, long future ahead of you. Because keep in mind, I'm not actually encouraged. I mean, a life of Dawa is a wasted life in my view. But I do like the idea of, hey, if you're going to keep in Dawa, just go ahead and keep doing that but pay attention to what you're doing and ask yourself, does the truth need this? Does the truth need, me so strong? Does the truth need you constantly trying to change your arguments to catch someone off guard? Does the truth need that? If you had an actual strong argument that you were convinced was a good argument, would you need to try to catch people off guard? And so I want to kind of point that out to him, like in a friendly way, because he is a young guy. He is, he is up and coming and so on. But it's always puzzled me. The argument I used, the main argument that I used from Deuteronomy, guys, you can go back to my Answering Islam days. I posted that argument online. You can look it up. It's called the Deuteronomy Deductions. Look up the Deuteronomy Deductions. I posted that was like what 2006, 2007. I posted that. That's how long. You're talking like 2 decades I've given the exact same argument that I just gave this guy. Why? I think it's a good argument. It's a good argument. If you have a good argument, you don't need to constantly be trying to trick people and stuff. And so, yeah, it's just why? Why is if Islam were true and were based on good arguments, why do you have the Dawa guys? Why do you have the Dawa guys and their antics and their deception and their chest thumping? The truth does not need that, guys.
I would just make sure if you're going to just tell him you're a young guy, make sure to point out that you don't mean this the Afghan way, the Muslim way. You're just pointing out that he's inexperienced. You have no intentions of sexually approaching him or anything like that. I think you need to make that clear.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and say here for everyone who's watching, when I'm emphasizing that Dawa Central or Central Dawa or whoever it was, when he's a young guy with a long future ahead of him, I'm not talking about it like these guys would be. Yes, we're not talking about it in the Islamic way, or the smiles to Jannah, graping people in the mouth, or hijab's golden showers, or can I fuck on your wife's tit? And everything is perverted. Again, why is Dawa like this? Why, like the most massively dysfunctional and demented people in the world become the most famous Dawa guys? And Central Dawa is like, hey, I want to get in on this. Okay, good luck with that. Good luck with that. You guys see that? You guys see that one of the Nova survivors? Yeah, we did. We already talked about that. So this came earlier. I mean, yeah. So Shauna, this was a follow-up to an earlier message. I meant that Hamas was in error by filming because the footage can't be denied. Well, unless you're a Harvard student. Oh, okay. So Shauna was saying, I guess, did they mess up by recording it and posting it? Because, yeah, I have to say, AP, given people's willingness to say, No, Hamas did nothing. They didn't go after civilians. They weren't killing civilians. They weren't doing any of it. They were just going after... Given their willingness to do that, even when we had video footage of them just gunning down random civilians who are running for their lives and so on, if Hamas hadn't recorded stuff, I mean, my goodness, you'd have even more people with more confidence saying Hamas did nothing wrong. They were just looking for food. That's all they were doing. They were just trying to get some food because they were starving. So they escaped out of their prison, their open air prison, to look for a sandwich. They were starving.
Oh, there are two aspects of this. One of them is actually is tied to the very same reason why Israel has refused to publicly show everything repeatedly. Much of the footage that they have, that they possess, has still not been shown and still not been published or even leaked. Much of it is still quite confident. Much of the footage that is out there that you can find online has Israel never made an effort to show anyone that kind of stuff. Whereas in the Palestinian territories, when somebody dies, when somebody is stung by a bee, they publish it and advertise it as Israel oppressing us. Israel still made sure not to show most of the stuff that happened, especially not to their own people, because one of the primary reasons why it is thought Hamas recorded videos of themselves going around and going into homes and killing civilians is that they want to damage Israeli morale by through terror. That is the primary reason for terrorism. That is what terrorism is motivated by inducing fear in the civilian population and the forces you are opposed by terrifying them through violent, radical actions, by killing people. The Israeli government's idea here is that publicizing these videos and making all Israelis watch the videos of Hamas going around and killing their fellow citizens, killing Israeli civilians in their homes, will demoralize people and will cause them to be more hopeless and have less confidence in their government and so on. So they thought, we don't have to do this. We do not want to give them that, so let's just not do it. However, they still put it out there so that people can see it. Another aspect of this is it shows how different Muslim society, Islamist society, and how different Hamas society is from the rest of us, and how wicked and how messed up it is. To them, it was totally okay to use their phones, to use cameras, to film themselves going around and committing brutal atrocities. I mean, you have footage of them literally going around, spotting an elderly person inside their home, shooting at the elderly person, and you can hear in the footage the elderly person in their home screaming in agony while dying. This is something that they considered worth recording on their own cameras, the Hamas terrorists. And then you have other Palestinian civilians, innocent civilians, coming in and recording footage of mistreated, brutalized, burned Israeli civilians. They record them and they say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, look at these dogs, look at these settlers. They considered it worthy to record such stuff and to share it, to upload it on the internet, to publicize this kind of stuff. Just think, David, if you wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do this, but if under some weird, messed up circumstances, you somehow found yourself in a situation where you somehow go out and actually, to make a point or to achieve a goal, ended up killing a bunch of civilians, would you really consider it useful or appropriate or normal to record this and to make it public? You wouldn't. This is insane by your own moral standards, by the society, by the civilization that you live in. To them, it is not. To them, it's not quite that insane. They are savages, and their culture is inferior.
Imagine, though, if they'd been a little less sick right? If they had just targeted soldiers and police and stuff like this, or men who are trying to defend their families or something like this, but they left everyone else alone. If they'd been a little less crazy, they'd have even more supporters than they have right now. And they have a lot of people who are supporting them, no matter how sick they are, no matter how sick they are. But you're right. It's the goal of a terrorist is to completely demoralize the opposition and say, you don't want to mess with us because here's what we're capable of. If you don't, if that message is not interpreted the way you intend, you get people who, okay, now we're done playing with you guys. And now we're willing to do whatever it takes to hunt you down and kill everyone who's involved with this. And so anyway, Hamas took their shot, and now Hamas will be no more. Hamas will be no more. I mean, there may be some little weak remnant or something like that, but Hamas is going to not be a tremendous factor in the future of world events.
Yep.
D. Wood, what's your top 3 Christian artists? What do you mean artist? I mean like people making paintings or like music artists? Music artists.
What artists? There's no Christian artists. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't pay much attention to art. If you mean music, I don't know. I don't listen to a ton of stuff anymore. Back in the day, it would have been like DC Talk or something like that. DC Talk. Gospel Gangsters got some good stuff. But
Christian artist is an oxymoron. That doesn't even make sense.
You hear this? You hear this? This is what happens when you do shows with a dirty agnostic. Looks like a wolf man. AP. Same person as AP. Do you use plastic or silver utensils? Why would you think?
I use dirt utensils. I make them myself from dirt.
He's Turkish. He uses his hands.
Yeah.
Do Turkish eat with their hands, or is that other people? I know there are people who eat with their hands. I've been there, but I've never been to Turkey, so I don't know if they eat with their hands.
Traditionally, yes. Less and less, though.
They use utensils now?
Yeah.
They're becoming civilized?
They try.
I have to say, I don't like the places where you just grab like stuff with your hands. I am okay with the ones that like they do it in Pakistan, but they do it similar was in Ethiopia, where they have some form of bread and you tear off a piece of bread and grab like meat or something with it. I do like that. I'm fine with that. That works as well as utensils.
Turks don't eat with their fingers. They do that. If they eat something without utensils, they use bread. That's what they do.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. So Turkey is terrible and awful in every way except for how they eat. Okay, we got it.
That's what they do.
Gaza wood is not brought up enough around the press. Yeah, I mean, how many times these guys need to get caught staging stuff? Which, I mean, some stuff is real, but it's like, okay, everything you guys tell us or everything you guys record, we need independent verification, corroboration, because you guys lie a lot and you're obsessed with it. Lloyd says, when you had to explain the grace on Muhammad's lips, comment, Central Dawa had to hold himself back from laughing. Oh, 146. I'm going to screenshot that. If he was actually almost laughing, that would be funny. I love it when I am making fun of Muhammad or someone else is making fun of Muhammad and the guys can't help but laughing. That's pretty funny stuff. Oh, it was like Sneeko when who was it? What? Hey, AP, what was going on when Sneeko started laughing? Oh, it was Andrew Wilson talking about Muhammad having a 1.8 inch PP. Based on what the other guy was saying. If you're saying that Muhammad didn't harm Aisha, who would have had, at age 9, about a 2-inch long vaginal canal, if you're saying he didn't harm her, then he must have had a 1.8 inch or smaller penis. But Sneeko's actually like had to try to control himself and stop himself. For some reason, I love that. Matter of fact, those are, apart from people saying, hey, I left Islam and I became a Christian now, those are always the best comments. But over the years, apart from that, my favorite comments were always, okay, I'm a Muslim, but this is funny. I don't know why, but I always love those comments. Someone watching my videos and say, okay, I'm a Muslim, but this is funny. I give credit where credit is due. Always like that. But yeah, I will check that out if, let's see. Lloyd says, also, I can't find that comment or the leather strap comment on the debate clip Central Dawa posted on his channel. Oh, did he cut it out? Because that's funny. You'll have to go to the modern day debate. What?
I just checked it. I just checked 146.50. First thing he does after you explain the whole issue with Yahya and Muhammad, he starts shaking his head like this, and then looks up, and then he goes. And he suppresses a laughter or a smile.
All right. That's good. Sorry, Central Dawa. That's going on Twitter. Oh, wow. Let's see. Dwayne says, David, I watched your debate with, wait, this is Dwayne. That's the same comment from earlier. David, I watched your debate with Dawa Central, and as a Muslim, please don't check my channel to verify you impose brutal destruction on his argument. I've concluded Islam is false and have now converted. Okay, I'm not sure what a don't check my channel.
You see?
That could be, hey, I'm a Muslim, but my channel's not about Islam, and so it's don't check it. Or it could be you're definitely not a Muslim and you're just doing what the Muslims do. Oh, before I watched this, I was a devout Buddhist, but now after seeing this, alhamdulillah, I believe in the 5 pillars of Islam. David, have you ever had to take a leap of faith with God over what you can see and understand? If so, did you do an action of faith? And what was the fruit of it? I don't know. I'd have to think. I mean, no, that's happened. Stuff like that's happened a bunch of times. But if I were to think of like good examples, but
whenever I take a leap of faith, I jump from a high place into a bunch of hay, and then come out totally unharmed of it.
Yeah, guys. So a leap of faith would be like, you know what? By all appearances, this may not be a good idea, but I'm going to trust God with this and just go ahead with it. Yeah. David, do you fear Iran's escalation will pull the U.S. into another Middle Eastern conflict? God bless your work, both of you. Iran is just weak and falling apart from within, so it's not like the U.S. has to go and get super involved and send in troops and stuff. I don't think the U.S. will do that. If Israel doesn't deal with Iran in the very, very near future, I don't know. The most the U.S. would do is like sanctions and maybe bomb something. What?
When I just explained what I do when I take a leap of faith, I was making a reference to Assassin's Creed, which I didn't expect you to get, but
of course
people
not.
in the chat got it immediately.
Is that a good game?
Yeah, pretty good.
Let's see. AP, why would Detroit Muslims endorse Trump? Values? Are they endorsing Trump?
I don't really know much about Muslims in Detroit. David, you know more.
Yeah, so you've got Detroit. Then right beside Detroit, you've got Dearborn, Michigan, which has, I think, the highest percentage of Arab Muslims anywhere outside the Middle East, as far as like percentage of the population. I don't know. I haven't been closely following it. I would imagine some of them would, but yeah, guys, there's kind of no good choice for Muslims. They've traditionally been associated with the left because the people on the left will defend them and say, if you criticize Islam in any way, you're an Islamophobe, you just hate brown people. They've had this alliance, but Muslims have also been noticing that people on the left want to like talk to their kids about transitioning and things like that. And they're getting they've been getting concerned about that for a while. So they're stuck in this awkward position of, wait a minute, the left wants to have an alliance with us for votes and they'll protect us from criticism, but they also have all these values that are completely opposed to us. Whereas these guys on the other side, they have no problem with people criticizing Islam and they'll blast away at Muhammad and so on. But there's more people over there that have some of the same values. So there's just no clear choice for Muslims, and you're going to have Muslims on both sides.
What do Detroit Muslims do? Like, is this do they rap? It sounds like if you are in Detroit and you're a Muslim, you're supposed to rap, which would be better than the alternative, which is rape.
Let's see. Saudi Arabia hates the Muslim Brotherhood. Well, certain leaders in Saudi Arabia hate the Muslim Brotherhood. You have lots of the religious leaders who love the Muslim Brotherhood or are the Muslim Brotherhood and so on. But yeah, lots of the rich guys who just want to be rich and live their lives and see their country move forward and stuff. They are not crazy about the Muslim Brotherhood because keep in mind, the Muslim Brotherhood wants to take over them as well and the entire world.
They declared the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization. So it's kind of funny.
Could you both please do a couch co-op let's play of Dustborn, an unironically super woke and ironically funny game to laugh at?
I've never heard of it.
AP would have to do. I don't even know how to really play a game on a computer. I know how to play a game on an Atari 2600, a Nintendo, or an Xbox with Call of Duty.
That looks ridiculous.
It looks like a dumb game. Is it better than that Al Aqsa game you played?
Well, definitely. But it's just ridiculous by Western standards.
Shauna says ancient Iranians were the inventors of the light war chariot. So there's that. Oh, I mean, Iran has a long and very cultured history. I mean, they had the Persian Empire back in the day. Islam just suffocates everything.
That's what they do.
Dwayne says, I recant those violent insinuations of your punch-able face. As a Christian, I no longer want to punch, but kiss it as Muhammad kissed the black stone. Look, see? I understand wanting to kiss my face. Just don't let it be like this. And I mean like this specifically. None of this, Dwayne.
I just want to kiss you.
Yeah, don't do that. That's Islam style. We don't want any of that.
Kiss.
Patriotic Z says, you like my chats on the debate? I brought up Central Dawah not knowing Arabic because he mentioned Uthman teaching Arabic. Love you guys. AP joined Christ's family already, brother. Yeah. What are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Christmas? That's what all the Christians want for Christmas. They want AP. AP, my opinion has not yet changed about your face. This is the guy who said his opinion on me has changed, but his opinion on your face has not yet changed.
Okay.
Now you know, in your face. Lloyd says, Sinwar is a bit like the guy in the Titanic movie who dresses up as a woman so he can get on the lifeboat, but a million times worse. I've never seen Titanic, but that'd be funny. Have you seen it, AV? That having a guy dressed up like a girl to get on a boat?
I watched it several times. But yes, the main bad guy, he does pretend to be a woman to get on a boat.
That's pretty funny. Does he get away with it? Did it work?
I don't remember.
T.E. Lawrence had a little boyfriend in Palestine. Interesting. I think Iran's regime will be undone by this war. I believe the current leadership's days are numbered.
Very least so.
Yeah, and I have to say, even though Israel might take out some leaders and so on, you would ultimately want the victory and the revolution to come from the people there, so it's not imposed from outside, and it's actually from the people.
He does get away with it, by the way. I remember.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's good news. Jews can even use toothpaste to end Muslim bugs. What?
Yeah, this is a typical Indian comment.
Is it true? For clarification, the quantum argument revolves around the idea that quantum physics needs some underlying manipulator. It's IP shtick, just wondering. Yeah, I don't know. It's IP shtick, just wondering. Hey, AP, did you serve in the army in Turkey, and how horrible was it?
I did. It made me feel very, very sick about humanity in general, but more so about Turkish society and Turkish army. I went there thinking, yeah, I'm doing the right thing, man. I'm doing good thing. Yeah, this is what I'll do. I'll go there and do my job and do my mission and stuff. And they literally treat soldiers like stupid little bugs. And everything is just so ridiculously dumb.
Well, can you blame them? I mean, it's Turkish soldiers, right?
Yeah.
How would, if I had some Turkish soldiers around me, how do you think I would treat them? Oh, like brilliant pillars of intellectual investigation or something? Come on, dude. Be realistic here. What?
And there, it's a long story. I prefer not to go into it. After I left the military, I was actually for a very long time, in a way, traumatized. For years, actually, I woke up in the mornings having severe feelings of revenge, of wanting to go back and just take revenge on certain people in charge and all that.
And so
in fact, I had
you
a
took that
very
aggression, and turned it into rage against Islam. Interesting.
yes, rage against the machine. I talked about this with a therapist, but I had this weird phenomenon that happened to me after the military, which is that after I left the military, something happened in my memory. A gap occurred, which is a trauma response, apparently, where my brain, where my mind blocks out a certain thing from my memory because it's too heavy. So I started forgetting my time in the military and had to think further about whether I actually went there or not.
What the
I'd
heck?
had to much later make peace with that whole thing, with the idea that I went there and that it was over and so on. So I clearly didn't take it very well. Let's just put it like that.
Wow. That's convenient. I could like wipe out portions of my life. That'd be interesting.
That's not very convenient. It's actually pretty bad.
Sounds like a movie.
Yep.
Hey, here's a joke. Your mama's so haram, she eat ham, wipes her butt with her right hand, and refuses to breastfeed the milkman. Oh, hey, we should do a your mama joke battle, like with a crowd around with the hype crowd, but we're Muslims and it's all your mama's so haram, but it's all like she's bad for completely normal stuff.
That's true.
That would be dope. Hey, check this out. I found this guy, Apostate Aladdin, today. So he's an ex-Muslim crying that Israel is committing genocide. He went from being a Muslim to a leftist fool. What a tool. That's a very weird complaint. Just imagine if Apostate Aladdin were here watching this right now and he heard you calling him a leftist fool. How would that make him feel?
Well, sounds like a pathetic little loser. I think of all the people out there in the world, ex-Muslims should not be on the side of accusing Israel in this situation. If you will have lots of ex-Muslims stand up for Israel and support Israel in this, then you will have some people, especially those who have adopted a very leftist Western mindset, who are ex-Muslims, who will go, Israel is oppressive, Israel apartheid, genocide. As an ex-Muslim, you shouldn't be doing this. As an ex-Muslim, you should be aware of how disgusting the other side is, of how bad the opponents of Israel and of the Jews are, and you should stop buying into their narrative and stop spreading their propaganda against Israel. And if you have any doubts, if you still think, oh no, I see it on Twitter, I see it on posts, Israel do genocide and stuff, man. Maybe organize a trip to Israel, go there, meet people in Israel, talk to people in Israel, and then come back and say those things again.
Hey, we should do that. We should gather up a group of like haters and take them on a trip. Take them on a trip to Israel and take them around to actually like meet people and so on.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. We should do that. We should do like a couple times a year. Take a trip. Me and AP. We'll pick like half a dozen or a dozen people who, oh, you can't go over there. The Jews will beat you up and spit on you. We'll actually take them over there. Take them everywhere. Take them to Jerusalem. Take them to the Old City. Take them to the Christian quarter, the Muslim quarter, the Jewish quarter. Take them up on the Temple Mount. Take them to Tel Aviv. Take them all over the place. And then say, what were you complaining about here? What were you complaining about?
You see.
AP is a hologram created from a pattern of interference produced by a split coherent beam of radiation. The Jews created AP so he can intellectually molest and destroy Nazi Dawa zombies. It's true.
You see?
That is possible. And you can't prove that it's wrong. Alpha Doge says, getting into what you guys do soon. Got any advice? Also, you should check out the brutal memes I've been putting out about enemies of Israel on my Facebook page, Christian Humor Emporium and beyond. So everyone, I'm not on Facebook, but those of you who are on Facebook, you can check out Christian Humor Emporium and beyond. As far as getting, what do you mean what we do? You mean like YouTube videos, live streaming? I said before, as far as if you're getting started, because keep in mind, there's you're basically competing for, if you're getting on social media and you're starting off, you're competing for people's attention with when there's already a bunch of people who have people's attention. So why are people going to watch your content and not other people's stuff? So one thing is, you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. There are all kinds of videos that run you through the basics, which are things that some of us had to learn on our own at the beginning, but now everyone knows them and so on. So you can check out videos on getting started on YouTube or anything else you want to do. The other thing is, as far as how to get started, again, whatever you want to talk about, chances are there are a bunch of others talking about it already. So you got to look for some specific niche that you can get into. Something I think that would probably be the easiest is focusing on some specific person or a couple specific people. In other words, like if you were going to respond to Dawah, then pick a Dawah guy and respond to that guy more than other people do. And that way, when people are looking up responses to that Dawah guy, they find your stuff because other people might not be responding to them. So look for something that other people aren't doing. Try to do that. AP, you should look into the atrocities of Vietnam. What? Why?
Why would I do that?
Yeah, why would I do that? I don't know. But Chris says you should look into the atrocities of Vietnam.
I don't want to.
AP uses rocks to crack his food open and eat it raw.
That's what I do.
That's what he does.
That's what I do. I usually use my feet to eat and also use rocks to crack stuff open. Mm-hmm. And then before chewing it, I beat it with my fists. I beat the food first and say, you will be, I will chew you with my fists. I will not dirty my mouth for this. And then I put it in, and then I start just eating it when it's soft enough.
So typical Turkish, just say I eat in typical Turkish fashion. We all know what that means.
And then after I'm done eating, I go,
smart. Fatwad said, love seeing AP on Tusi TV. Yeah, you should be a regular on there.
Thank you. It was pretty based.
Dima said, Central Dawah. David, Muhammad hot, you see, me straight than you. Yeah, he was talking about how handsome Muhammad was.
What?
I should have said, like, show us a picture, man. So the IDF, draw Muhammad for us so we know what he looks like. So the IDF was caught on camera admitting to stealing Palestinian aid money from Sinwar's safe. They're sick. I was talking about the video.
Yes.
That money would have been mine. There would have been no record. Officially, we would have found 200 shekels in that safe. But there's no scenario where we would have made a video of us finding millions of shekels. Nope. Not with D Wood on the job. David, I watched your debate with Central, and as a goat, no need to verify my channel. I have converted into a cow. Maybe Masab will choose me now. That's a good one. Let's see. Indian media calls Dearborn's jihad capital. Yeah, it is. Guys, keep in mind, it's by area. Like East and South Dearborn, I think, are, if you were in East or South Dearborn, and you didn't know where you were and you woke up, you would think you were in Saudi Arabia. The signs are all in Arabic. They're blasting the imam's sermon over the loudspeaker and stuff like that, so you can hear it wherever you are and stuff. Yeah. Nanny Poo Poo says, we got part 1 of 5. Since as PLO leader, Zahir Hussein said, there's no Pali people, just... why do you put this in 7 different posts? 5 different posts. Undifferentiated Arabs, even if Israel... Get down. Sorry, YouTube won't let me finish my super chat.
Why do you make multiple $2 super chats to fit it into the message instead of making a $10 super chat and writing it all out? I don't understand, nanny poo poo.
I'm wondering, and then didn't even get to finish it. And so I'm wondering if it's like, it's one of those things where the algorithm is picking things up and blocking certain things and it won't let it. And so she's kind of breaking it up into parts to figure out what the problem part was, but then found it out. That zoom in on the lips takes that clip to a whole new level. Yeah, that's why I posted the other one. Then someone posted the clip of the zoom in. That's why I modified it for this one. Might have to repost it at some point.
Nanny poo poo.
AP is incorrect. The main bad guy in the Titanic is the iceberg.
See, it's always a Jew. Iceberg.
An iceberg was controlled by the Jews.
It's an iceberg. You see, it's right in the name.
Oh, Sinwar and honey, I just want to have fun. What in the world have... Lawrence wrote about his boyfriend in 7 Pillars of Wisdom. Why do you want us to read about this dude's boyfriend? AP, how was the chow in the Turkish army? How were their MREs? Did you eat MREs?
No,
Did you eat like a mess hall?
yeah, actually, yeah. It was weird. I don't know what you actually refer to as MREs in terms of
normally comes in like a plastic pack and you pull it out. And...
There were special packages that you would get distributed if you go on on a certain mission and spend a day somewhere else. It was usually better food than the regular food that you get in the in the canteen in the kitchen. It's kind of funny.
Interesting. There is a channel. I have to point out, Michael, there is a channel. Gosh, I forget what the name, but that's all he does. It's Steve something, but he's a weird guy, but he's obsessed with trying all the MREs from all the different militaries. And so people actually like find them in their countries and they send him the MREs and then he like reviews them. But he actually does funny stuff. Like he'll like get like an MRE from like Vietnam. I even saw one where he had one from World War II. He would open MREs from World War II and stuff. I think he eventually even got a cracker from the Civil War that had been preserved, but he eats them. So he ate a cracker from it. He was like, oh, this tastes like mothballs and stuff. It's a cracker from the Civil War. And he ate it. Anyway,
Funny thing is what I did when I first joined the military in Turkey, the first 3 months, actually, I was somewhere for 1 month and then was sent somewhere else for another 2 months where I'm in basic training. But the place that I was sent to had horrible food, absolutely horrible, unbearable food, and I would often not be able to really eat it. So what I would do is they would have these I don't know if you know what halva is. Halva is this sweet stuff that you find in Middle Eastern cultures to eat, and so they would have that. So what I would do is just to put my food aside and just take a bunch of those, like blocks of halwa, and just put them in my military pockets, and then just eat them throughout the day. It was a very weird thing to do.
Yeah, imagine AP doing something weird. Huh, shocker. Shocker. Let's see. Wadi Hadid was sent to Jannah by toothpaste.
You see?
Wadi Haddad. Is that true? Oh, is that the guy they poisoned his toothpaste or something?
Was it?
What is that?
I don't know.
Let's
Did
see.
they?
Wadi Haddad. Abu Hani was a Palestinian militant. Let's see. Scroll down to death.
According to reports, he was killed by Mossad, which had to send the chocolate-loving Haddad Belgian chocolates coated with a slow-acting and undetectable poison, which caused him to die several months later.
Huh. So that says it was chocolates. Wait, okay, there are multiple theories. According to the 2018 book, Rise and Kill First, the Mossad killed Haddad by poisoning his toothpaste. On January 10, 1978, a deep-cover Mossad agent with a high-level access to Haddad's home and office switched his regular tube of toothpaste for an identical tube containing a toxin that had been developed at the Israel Institute for Biological Research. Some of the toxin penetrated the mucous membranes of his mouth and entered the bloodstream every time he brushed his teeth. Haddad became ill and was admitted to an Iraqi government hospital where the doctors could not figure out what his condition was and suspected he had been poisoned. And he's sitting there, oh, I don't know, but let me just keep brushing my teeth. Upon Yasser Arafat's request, he was flown to East Germany to be hospitalized at a prestigious hospital, which treated members of the intelligence and security communities, where he was admitted under the pseudonym Ahmed Dukli. The tube of lethal toothpaste was included in a bag of toiletries his aides packed. He keeps using the same toothpaste. He kept using it. He's going around. He's traveling. He's going from hospital to hospital, country to country. They're trying to figure out what's wrong with him, and he's still brushing his teeth with the same poison toothpaste. The tube of lethal toothpaste was included in a bag of toiletries his aides packed for him. He was extensively tested, and the physicians suspected he had been poisoned with either rat poison or thallium, but found no direct evidence. His condition continued to deteriorate. According to intelligence provided by an Israeli agent in East Germany, Haddad's screams of pain were heard throughout the hospital, and he had to be heavily dosed with tranquilizers and sedatives. Haddad died 10 days after his arrival there.
Good. The guy was a PFLP member, the communist Palestinian movement, which no longer really has power and nowadays cooperates with the Islamists, with Hamas. They also participated in October 7. PFLP did lots of horrible things back in the day against innocent civilians, including participating in plane hijackings, terrorist attacks against civilians, and they also closely worked with the Soviet Union. So they were basically agents of the Soviet Union. This guy was a KGB.
Godhub says, your mama's so fat, Mohammed Masab chooses her. So she's a cow. Sorry to hear about your experience in the military, AP, but serious question. Do the soldiers resort to gay activities in the Turkish military? You're seriously asking whether the Turks engage in gay activities in the military? You're seriously asking that? Do we need to ask that?
Of course they do. What are you talking about? No, thank you for that. But honestly, one of the weirdest things about going to the military was the observation of people starting to act in very gay ways while being totally against gay, and it was always a very, very strange thing to me. The issue is it's also a cultural issue. When I moved from Germany to Turkey and switched schools, went from a German school to a Turkish school, one thing that I noticed was that for a population that seems to be very, very anti-gay, they seem to engage in a lot of very weird gay innuendo and gay activities and gay things, including constantly making jokes about pinching each other's butts or humping each other and things like that. I thought, what the hell? What is wrong with these people? You know? And but that got even more intensified in the military, of course, with the absence of women and all that. It's really.
Yeah, there are lots of guys in prison like that. There are guys in prison who would go on visitation day, would go meet with their wives. So they hang out with their wives for 2 hours at visitation and then go bang some dude afterwards. But they're thinking about their wives while banging some dude. It's just so anyway, it's if there's not a girl around, then they'll okay, let's just grab the nearest guy and so on. And so anyway, long story short, in the Turkish military and in prison, life is basically like this. It's like that, everyone. That's how it is.
You know what's funny? I'll just say it all. But when I went to Turkey, I was also introduced to the idea of people in rural areas having sexual interactions with animals, which was apparently seen as something totally funny and normal.
Look, I'm banging a goat over here. Look at this. Everyone, film me.
Have you ever banged a donkey? Of course I am. I'm back in our village.
And stuff like this is to this day so absurd to me, because in Turkey you will hear them blast Western societies as immoral and bad and perverted and whatever it is. In the West, we never talked about things like this. And I go back to the West. We don't talk about things like this, and stuff like this doesn't frequently happen. You don't just joke about how normal it is for you to find a goat or a donkey and have sex with that donkey. And then in Turkey, it's like they joke about and tell about how people living in villages in rural areas who are of course totally morally upright and stuff would go and have sex with donkeys, for example, and it was extremely confusing to me to see this, to be exposed to this. And consistently, I have always thought there is something really, really messed up and sick about the fact that these guys pretend to be the morally great ones who are totally handling everything very well. But obviously, reality is quite different. And maybe being so weird about sex the way Islam is leads to precisely these outcomes.
You think? Yeah, because it's dysfunctional wherever you go, right? Afghanistan, really, really messed up. Turkey, messed up in a different way. Like various places, banging animals. You remember that? This was years ago, but there are tons of stories like this about health problems because all the guys, all the young the teenage boys in the local Muslim town all gathered together to bang donkeys and goats and stuff. But there was that one case where they found out this donkey had a venereal disease because some kid got it, and then they had to find out who else, and it ended up being like 15 teenagers all had the same venereal disease because they're all banging the same donkey. And so guys, I'm not making this up, you can look this up. Anyway, well, yep, these are the guys we want telling us how to be moral.
Bestiality is a very popular thing in the Muslim world. There were results from years ago where they showed that online adult content searches from different countries. In the West, you have normal interactions, and then in Pakistan, you have bestiality searches. Very popular.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very, very popular. Lloyd here said, it's funny we're getting so many questions about Turkey and so on. AP, do Turks eat doner meat, or do you all laugh at Westerners for eating your mystery meat export? What's doner meat? Is that like spam or something?
Doner meat. No, it's basically like gyros. It's the same thing.
Oh, I love that stuff, man.
It's the same thing.
I've had the Greek version. I love that stuff.
The Greek version is better than the Turkish version.
You talking about the thing and they have it on a big thing and it like spins around, they shave it off and toss it on your foot. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Greeks do it. The Greek version's better. Okay.
Greeks do it better than Turks do. When I
Greeks
eat a
do
gyro,
everything better than Turks. What?
It tastes better than than doner. But yeah, they do eat that. It's just in Turkey it is usually very dry. When they offer and sell it in different countries in Europe, it's much more. It's not as dry. It tastes better. So
he's saying the stuff that we get's actually better than.
Yeah, you actually get the better doner.
We get the good stuff. Quit complaining, Lloyd. We got the good stuff.
Eating Turkish kebab in Germany and Turkey, the one in Germany is much better than the ones in Turkey. In Turkey, you have some dry, weird stuff.
Who says, AP saw your old video why I left Islam. Very touching story, especially Aunt's story, and inspiring. AP, you went through a lot. You are a hero. I don't know about all of that.
I'm not a hero.
Oh, Nanny says, yes, I tried a $10. It wouldn't send. I finished it in the regular non-super chat comment. Yeah, they said, I don't know what you were trying to post, but they might be messing with you a bit. Cars in Depth says, Hamtramck is even more Muslim than Dearborn. If it is, then that changed. A real place? Yeah, that was the place where all the leftists helped Muslims rise to power, and then once the Muslims took over the city council, then they're like, no more LGBTQ stuff, Pride Month.
Okay, but why is it spelled like that? When I first saw it, I thought it's a typo. Why is it actually spelled like that? Hamtramck.
Yeah, I want to check out the demographics.
Why is it spelled like that?
I mean, they're not terribly far apart from each other. Let's see. I don't see any demographics on here. Economy. Oh, demographics. White. Let's see. 57. Oh, no, they're not showing their religion.
Ah, okay. It goes back to some guy's name.
Not according to the 2020 census. Pakistani, 11%. Let's say ethnic groups. A lot of immigration from Eastern Europe. Bangladeshi and Bengalis. Yemenis. Yeah, I'd have to see. If they actually change to where they're more, if they have a higher percentage of Muslims in Dearborn, then that must have changed recently. Let's see. Dave, are you a fan of the vegetarian omelet? Oh, David, you're a fan of the vegetarian omelet, right? Yeah, it's my favorite thing in the world. I could eat it all day long. What's the difference between Dubai and Abu Dhabi? People in Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but people in Abu Dhabi do. Abu Dhabi do.
Nice, nice.
AP eats like the Flintstone.
Yeah, I do.
Abu Dhabi do. Much love for you, for both of you. And AP, I respect you being so honest and open about therapy. Baruch Hashem.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Kurdish and
What?
Pakistan.
Wait, go back. I want to see that again, the comment.
Much love for you both. And AP, I respect you being so honest and open about therapy.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's therapy is like going to the doctor. It shouldn't be something to be ashamed of. It's like if you want to go to a doctor for a regular checkup, even if there's nothing wrong with you, or you have an injury, or you have something, some illness or something, you want to go to the doctor. Same thing with mental health.
No, if you go to anyone for help with anything, you're a weakling. Fix everything with duct tape, ladies and gentlemen. Fix everything with duct tape. Now, if you lose an entire limb and duct tape won't stop the bleeding, then you need professional help. But other than that,
you need a sledgehammer.
Kurdish and Pakistani immigrants causing trouble in Japan. Even Japan don't want these people. Yeah, it's just weird that.
You don't want to mess with Japan. Japanese people are not like Western people.
Yeah, guys, and they're even higher on the don't mess with these guys scale than Germans. I keep saying, guys, don't screw with the Germans. They're going to put up with it a lot because of their guilt over the Holocaust and so. Don't keep. They will push back. Eventually, they're not going to put up with it. But the Japanese, yeah, they haven't been shamed into compliance as much as the Germans have, and they don't have the same level of guilt that the Germans have. So they're not going to play around with you.
They're also quite open about how they're better than everyone else, and how we don't want to live with foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
look up El Al Flight 219. Pilot stopped hijacking. What, really? When is that? Is that now or like back in the day?
No,
I can't imagine someone hijacking anything now. Security's too tight.
Back in the day.
Dolph
field hijacking in 1970.
Yeah, set 1970. That makes sense. Because we flew El Al when we went there.
Yeah, El Al is beast. El.
Members of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine hijacked 4 airliners bound for New York City. 4?
Communists.
And 1 for London. Whoa! 3 aircraft were forced to land at Dawson's Field, a remote desert airstrip near Jordan. near Zarqa, Jordan. Formerly Royal Air Force Station, Zarqa. Dang. You look back at it seemed like it was way easier back in the day to pull this stuff off, and you just wonder, what are terrorists going to do when none of this stuff works anymore? Huh. That is a long article. I'll have to check that out later, because there was multiple hijacking. What?
I see this comment. Dio Stoll said, "You will hang out with these whites that will constantly take a dump on your race, and you thinly you're safe from the prejudice. Well, you're not. Even if you're trying to become Jewish, you filthy app." I'm not sure who you think you're talking to, Dio Stoll. I don't care about my race.
Ha! You're betraying them. You have all these white people sitting here making fun of Turks, and you're taking it. What's wrong with you? Stand up for your race. You say no. You're supposed to say no. Turks are the greatest people of all time, and you will all submit to the Turks.
Dio Stoll, you have an inferiority complex. You are channeling and projecting your inferiority complex here. That's what you're doing, literally. You have an inferiority complex because to you, a relationship between whites and non-whites can only be one of superior and inferior. And if you hang out with white people, then you are basically submitting to the superior people as an inferior and letting them trample on you because you just want to sell out and want to suck up to them because you think they're better than you. This is your mindset. It's not my mindset. You're projecting your inferiority.
Yeah, stop projecting. Stop projecting.
That is your problem. It's not my problem. Nobody's taking a dump on
your problems to yourself.
I don't have a race. There is no such thing as a race.
Yes,
race is an invention.
Race.
Race is something that was invented over the last 2 centuries and was debunked because it was a ridiculously stupid idea. It is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It is a metaphysical matter. There is no such thing. Stop being an idiot. Stop being
Turks are a race of people who eat doner meat and fill their pockets up with sweet stuff and just nibble on that all day.
And then you say, you're not, even if you're trying to become Jewish.
You're still Turkish.
Let me tell you one thing.
Cover up the truth.
Let me tell you one thing, Dio Stoll.
You can't Jewify your Turkishness.
I want to, in fact, I want to ask you a question. Which society do you think is more ethnically diverse? The British English or the Israeli Jewish? Another question. Which society do you think is more ethnically diverse? Saudi Arabian Arab or Israeli Jewish? The answer to both questions will be Israeli Jewish. These people are not white people. They are an incredibly diverse people. Incredibly diverse people made up of Ashkenazi Jews, Sephardic Jews. Sephardic Jews are also ethnically very diverse. Ashkenazis are also very ethnically diverse. Then you have the Mizrahi Jews, the Middle Eastern Jews, who are also very ethnically diverse. Then you have the Persian Jews, who have a very long history of also being very diverse. Then you have black Jews coming over from Ethiopia and so on. You have other Jews who are converting, who have converted over the last centuries, also very ethnically diverse. You have Indian Jewish communities, Chinese Jewish communities, and so on. What are you talking about, you idiot?
You're the idiot. In your faith, now go eat your doner meat.
Man.
Let's see. Did you know that son of Hamas was given this title only because children is not a real word? I can't say.
Children.
David, did you ever drop the soap while in prison? I mean, if you mean the physical act of actually like dropping a piece of soap, possibly. But as far as like people banging you if you drop this, that's kind of a myth. Same thing with everyone, people getting raped in prison and stuff. I was locked up for several years. I only even heard about someone getting raped like twice the entire time, and both times it was punishment. Someone had like crossed a serious line. He was being banged as punishment for something. So this idea that like everyone's just, we're just gonna go, a new guy, fresh meat, we're gonna rape him and stuff. I mean, there's probably places like that, but that's not normal in prison. Now, there are lots of guys banging each other in prison. That happens all the time. But you have male prostitutes in there, and then you also have guys who just agreed. There are guys who I remember this guy. They called him Gunman, but he would say, "Look, I'm not gay, but I don't mind giving a little to get a little." I'm like, dude, come on. But so you have guys like that, and then you have the manipulators who some new guy comes in. You don't have to. They don't have to rape them. They can. You are dealing with a population of professional manipulators. So the typical fashion, to bang some new guy is the guy comes in, you say, hey, I know you didn't get it. I know you don't have any money in yet and stuff because all that stuff takes a while to transfer. So, hey, need anything? Yeah, you want some, want some ramen noodles? Want some? Yeah, just get me back later and stuff. You keep loaning him stuff. Yeah, don't worry about it, man. Just get me back whatever you can and stuff. Keep loaning him stuff. Then all of a sudden you walk up to him one day and they go, hey, you owe me $60 worth of stuff. I need it now because I owe this other guy. Oh, but I don't have it. No, I need it right now. Or I'm gonna have to beat you down, man. We're gonna have to beat you down because you're not paying me what you owe me, unless we can work something else out. And then they'll make the other guy think that it's his idea to okay, but what if I let you bang me? And then once you start the guy down that road, then you've basically set him on the track of being your girl for a long time. So anyway, that's how they do it. And I'm saying that because we try to warn guys, because you can kind of spot the guys that are going to fall for that. It's like, do not freaking let that guy loan you stuff. We know who that guy is. He's setting you up, dude. Anyway, that's prison.
You see?
AP, you got to get David some Iskandar kebab.
That's beautiful food, I have to say.
Is that good stuff?
That's very good stuff. I have to give Turks one thing, which is that despite the fact that they're terrible people, they have some good food.
I'll find out. We will eat that someday. We'll find a good Turkish place and get some Iskandar kebab. After this, I really hope all the doner meat I have ate wasn't me too'd, if you know what I mean.
It probably was.
It probably was. Let's see, 2 more. Guys, can you please invite Arif Hussain Tharovath from India? What are you laughing at? He is ex-Muslim from India with a large following and speaks English well. Rebecca, too, hosted him. Why are you giggling? Were you giggling at this comment or something else?
No, at the other one. Somebody from India who speaks good English. What are you talking about? That can't be real.
We should check this guy out. Who knows? I mean, who Jintao knows. I'm not asking a question. Who knows? I'm saying who knows. But you could check it out because who says that Rebecca hosted him? So you could check that out and see if we should have him on.
Because Rebecca is beast.
And Mukau also says, thanks for the laughs today. Also for the funny super chats from people in chat. Yeah, people were on fire with the super chats today. Funny stuff. All right. Trying to think of what else. My brother made parole. My brother made parole. I said before, this was the good one of the brothers. I was the cold-blooded one. My brother Manny was the hot-headed one. Our brother John was the good one until he got on drugs. Then he changed. And so he would kind of go back and forth. When he was on drugs, he'd be messed up. When he wasn't, totally nice, solid guy. But he was locked up for a while, then got out. Our brother OD'd, had massive brain damage. Our mom died of an overdose, and he lost his wife. And after all that, he was still staying clean. He was working. COVID hit, then he lost his job, and then he was all just by himself in a room, and everything sunk in. He relapsed, went back to drugs, went to selling drugs and stuff. Got locked up. Anyway, when they look at your record and say, "Oh, this is what the guy did," they don't know that, hey, you basically got decent people who screw up or have a problem, and you have those kind of guys, but you also have people who are just horrible, awful people and career criminals and stuff. Anyway, he's been locked up for a couple of years for relapsing and selling drugs and stuff. Got parole. Gonna come down. Anyway, long story short, I have to go pick him up this week and have to do a couple other things while I'm in West Virginia. So I think I'm heading out. I think I'm heading to West Virginia on Tuesday, man. Thinking I'm going to be there Tuesday. Gotta do stuff on Wednesday and then do more stuff, and then he'll get out. But yeah, he's gonna come live near me to get away from all bad influences. Smart. You get around. If you're around the people that you used to do drugs with, you can stand strong for a while, but there is a high chance that eventually you're just going to be having a really bad day one day. And just one time for old time's sake, and here's my old buddy. Hey, hook me up, man. one time for old time's sake, and then you're right back in it. So he understands that and wants to get as far away from everyone else as possible. So going to be coming down here with me. Anyway, long story short, don't know when we'll be live again this week. Unless AP wants to go live tomorrow, I'll be here tomorrow. But after that, I'll probably be out of town.
Tomorrow we will live then. Tomorrow we're going live.
All right, then find something super dope like I covered today.
Almost heaven.
West Virginia. Who says Rebecca hosted him 3 times? So in your face. So it must be good if Rebecca keeps bringing him back.
Well, Rebecca is 3 years old. She doesn't have very great judgment. So,
can you call Mike Winger a nerd as Masab? Oh, you mean like in his voice? AP can do the voice better than I can. I'm impressed by AP's.
I can only do it when I'm not prompted to do it.
Let's see. Look. I can't even do the look, man. Look. Mike Winger is a nerd. If I had to choose between 2 billion Mike Wingers and a nerd cow, I would choose the nerd cow. Like that. And, hey, decent-sized balls here says, crazy to see how effective the internet is at combating Islam. After all, you can't just behead a YouTube video and keep it pushing. Good work, guys. Yep, I saw this was going to be a problem for Islam way back in the day. In fact, you can go back to one of the earliest articles I wrote. It was before YouTube. Like, you're talking like 2003, 2004 or something. It was called Islam Beheaded: The Information Superhighway and the Death of Mohammedanism. And I talked about how Islam has only managed to thrive with deception, violence, keeping people insulated from hearing the truth, and that the internet would, over time, destroy all of that, take away every advantage that they use to deceive people. So, all turned out to be true. All right, guys, we will catch you all next time. We'll just close out with a few seconds of this. Oh, yeah.
Brother,
The mellow jams of real Islamic brotherly love. Oh, yeah. Nothing like the
What's
sweet
that?
lips. The sweet lips of a terrorist.
Sexy.
Terrorism and jihadi preaching make the lips moist and tender.
Sexy.
what's that, brother?
What's that? Oh, you smell so good. You smell so good.
Sexy.